Greetings, clobberers, and trekkerettes, and everybody else out there. Welcome to Clobbering Times, Saturday night Star Trek number 83. Clobbering Times 405, 1105 of all, of course. And just welcome to the show, everybody, and welcome my wonderful first officer. I was making her wait just to mess with her. Oh my goodness!
What are you cooking,
everybody.
Eric? What are you cooking, honey?
Sorry
to interrupt, Captain, but Eric's dropped the cooking bomb, so I want to know what you're cooking. Hey, good looking. What you got cooking?
My goodness, it's good to see you all here tonight. Friends have popped in early. Got a few good friends out there popping in. I'm trying to get everybody written down so we can do our legendary greetings to everyone formally greet everyone. We will do so in just a second, but in the meantime, I will greet my wonderful and first officer, the most wonderful first officer in the fleet. How are you tonight, number one?
Well, I am doing great now that I am here. I've missed you all. I'm looking forward to visiting with all of you. I'm so excited to hear what people, what all the 735ers have to say about these episodes tonight. And you're my favorite captain, the best captain in the whole world, one of my best friends in this whole wide world. I love you very much. So super excited for tonight. Let's do it!
I cannot wait. Indeed. It's great to see you all here tonight, my dear friends. And before we get started, I guess, before we get down to beeswax, I'll just say that it is, of course, Jack Kirby month on Clobbering Times, as you may or may not know. And celebrating the King of Comics is something that I've done ever since I've had a show many, many years before I knew what YouTube was. Well, not that far, but yeah. So I will have, Monday night. I'll just be talking a little Kirby, as always, on Monday Night Mark C. Comics Talk.
Look at that handsome face.
The King of Comics. Hail to the King, baby. Without him, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't know all you fine people. I mean, obviously, I love Star Trek and I love other things as well, but without feeding my geekness, who knows where I would be. Obviously, there are other great creators. You could say that about, like Gene Roddenberry and others for sure.
Yeah.
So there will be that, and I've got all kind of Kirby stuff in the works. I haven't got it all sussed out yet, but I just wanted to give that quick show note. I think we are ready to hang on a second here. I think we're ready to begin our greetings. Let me take one more look at the chat. So see if it didn't flip on me there. Okay. Well, as you all know, folks, we've made a tradition of this. We like to shout everyone out and say hello to you all because it means so much to us that you're here, that you're participating, that you just say hi. Some people lurk, and for those of you lurking, we love that you're listening or watching as well. We appreciate you so much. And those watching later I'm trying to develop the habit of thanking those people as well. People watching it later on a rerun or a download, what have you. So, thank you all for being here tonight or being here later. And now, number one, how about we start saying our hellos to our wonderful friends who are here with us this evening?
Yeah, but let's make those honorable mentions known. So, Joe's Atmosphere. He has officially gone into lurk mode because he's working. So if you were visiting with Joe,
I got him written down though.
Oh, great.
Okay, and we'll still shout him out. Yeah.
Tyrell, he's also working. And you know who else is working? So shout out to and also our friend Eric O'Sullivan, fine Irishman. He has to run a kitchen and feed a lot of people, hundreds of people at a university where he works. So, he's got to get that kitchen open at 4 a.m. And so that means early to bed, early to rise. So shout out to Eric and anybody else out there. Even if we don't know your name, I want you to know it is exactly like the captain said. We appreciate you supporting this channel, this show, and just being a part of our community. So I doff my cap to you, and so does my captain.
Indeedishness. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much. And for the friends who are are here and hanging out in the chat. Let's start. Of course, our great chief engineers here, Mark D with the CEO, buddy. Good to see you. Our wonderful communications officer, anti-derivative Jill is here. Jill, hey.
Hello.
Good to see you. Let's see here. Also, I don't know. I don't see LT, but he might be on shore leave. But if you hear this later, Lord Thoth, brother, you're part of the group, man. So you're part of the crew. So hail to you. I hope you and your wonderful wife are doing well.
Mrs. LT! Avon lives. Long live the Legion.
All that. Yep. Avon lives. Long live the Legion, my brother. There are Ananax of Andabears here with us. Popped in the first one to pop in tonight.
Evening, Nerod.
Phantom outsider was a man. It was a big man. Hey, buddy.
He is a man. Fanty.
He is. Well, I just don't want to cast roles on him. So.
I know, but it's funny.
He is the man. He's the man. We love Fanty. Fanty, I don't know. He busts my chops sometimes. I got to tell you. One of these days, if we ever meet and we're going to tangle, I'm going to call him out into the street and say, hey, man, draw. Then we're going to draw things with pencils. The good old Fanty. Eric K, the bronze wrencher, buddy.
Hello, handsome.
Good to see you.
It's going to be supper, ribeye. Yum.
Our dear friend Steve Mitchum, who I think he's popped in for a second. I don't know if you're still hearing this, buddy. I'm so sorry that you're still not feeling well.
Yeah.
I hope it's something that will pass soon, man. That's all I can say. But give me a call later, or obviously we're on tonight, but tomorrow or something. If you need to talk about anything going on, brother, if you hear me.
Yep. Yeah.
Anything I can do.
Yeah. Be well, be better, go get some rest, have lots of fluids, and we're all thinking of you. I just want to take this moment to ask everyone in the chat, all you 735ers, maybe throw up just like, maybe Steve Mitchum's initials, maybe a hug,
Steve,
maybe
right there.
Best wishes. Yeah, just it can be really hard when you're not feeling well and your child is sick at the same time, because then you're exhausted trying to take care of yourself and your beautiful little daughter. So if you could throw up his initials in there, or a hug, or just anything. Oh, there we go. Oh, you guys, thank you so much. And I hope Steve sees that, because we're thinking of him and we really love him.
Absolutely, he's a great friend, longtime friend, and I'm talking in my case. I've known him for 4 decades, dude. That's how long we've known each other.
Yeah.
But he's old. I'm not. Well, compared to him, I'm not. Dave G Sound, welcome. Good to see you, my friend.
Oh, Dave G Sound's here? That's going to be great. Love his comments.
Raymond Feliciano, King Dolphin TV. Hello there, buddy.
King Dolphin TV.
And Sandra's here as well.
Hey Sandra. Felicianos.
ED, enigmatic drop bear. What is up, man? Good to see you.
The erudite bear.
Yes, indeed. ED, thanks for being here.
Looking forward to those conversations, to those comments and conversations with you tonight, enigmatic drop bear.
As always, the great reviewer he is.
He is.
Let's see here. Maximum Redstone.
Maximum Redstone.
What's up, Maxie? Good to see you there, bud. Pleasant Valley Picker, hail to you.
BC.
Hang on a second. Okay, I just want to. I'm writing stuff down as I go along, so I apologize, everyone. Guagnar's here. Okay.
Guagnar.
Indeed. Good to see you there, Quagmire. Michael Beacom, and good to see you there, my friend. And shout out to the lovely Cassandra. I hope she's doing well.
Hello, Beacons. We love you guys.
The great master of Canadian wrenching, Chris Persia. What's up, buddy?
Mwah, 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 mwah.
Thanks for all you do, pal.
Billions of kisses headed your way.
All from her. Just want to make sure they're all from here. You get the handshake from me all the time.
No kisses from
which
Clubby.
I think he would prefer. I mean,
no Clubby kisses for Chris, and I'm sure Chris is happy with that.
Yes, he'll be okay. D Bud Martin, man of iron, brother. I hope you're doing well. It was great hanging out with you on our buddy Nicholas's comic shop talk last night, reviewing Nova. Dude, I enjoy hanging out with you so much, man. We got to do it more often. I'm glad we got one more week to go with that, and I hope you're doing great, buddy.
Yeah, I wish I wasn't. I was doing show prep. Otherwise, I would have tuned into that because when all of you fellas get together to talk about the comics, there's just so much to learn, so much to share. Even if you're not into comics, you learn so much about art and the conversation is so good. I hope everyone will tune into that on a rewatch because that would be an outstanding panel. Good evening, D-Bud.
A lot of fun. Absolutely. Pat ass buddy, hope you're doing well, feeling better, bro. If you're doing, it's good to see you, man.
Hey, Pat.
Captain Time, Lord Spot, my Lord of Time. What is up, dude?
Hey, how you
I hope
doing?
you
Nice
are
to see
having a.
you.
I hope you're doing well in this great time zone of yours. Oh, you got a comic book coming up, do you? Well,
What?
I want to hear about that. I'll have to ask you about that later. And of course, our fantastic show artist, Hungry, is the official CLOBBERIN Times artist, Yowza, aka the Great
Yay!
Hungry Boy.
He is. He is a great, great, great hungry boy.
Yep, absolutely. And Scotty's here. Hey, Scotty.
Hello, Scotty.
Welcome. Good to see you. The Catman, aka D. Myers. I hope you and your lovely wife are doing well, my friend. Great to see you.
Catmandu and your lovely wife. Please let her know that we say hello.
Joe's atmosphere, buddy. Thanks for lurking out there, man. I hope we get a chance to talk one of these days. And I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to last week. Excuse me, everybody. Maybe I should hang on. Let's just do the there. I had to clear it out there. Terrell 72. Always great to have you out there, my friend. Appreciate you out there. Big shout out to you.
Don't work too hard tonight, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Hope you do indeed. Chuck Marble.
Hello
there,
Chuck.
my friend. Welcome. Good to see you, sir. The lovely Wendy Webb. Wonderful to see you, my dear, and I hope Jimmy is doing well.
Jimmy's here too.
Is he? Good. Yeah. Cool. Well, hail Jimmy. Captain James T. Skywalker. What's up, old Kimasabi? What's good to see you there, man?
Hello.
A new friend named, I believe it says Fanatics. Is it Fanatics, right? 98? Is that correct? Am I getting that correct?
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
I think so.
Welcome to CLOBBERIN Times. I'm glad to see. I always love to see new friends pop in. Make new friends. We like that. Double C is here. Hello there, Double C. Now, I hope I have not missed anyone. I don't have anyone else left listed, but I will, of course, throughout the course of the evening, write them down and anyone down who pops in and shout them out in due course as soon as the first available opportunity. Yep. And in the meantime, I guess I will explain ourselves a little bit and we'll get rolling.
Yeah, why don't you tell the new folks about our setup here and let them know what we're doing here, what the format is. Take it away, Captain.
First, I would say to my cousin, the great Dave Rayborn. What's up, buddy?
Cuz, I haven't seen you in so long.
Good to see you there, Cuz. Hope you're doing great, man. Okay, so what we do here for anyone who may have popped in and have not listened to us previously, this is Saturday Night Star Trek number 83. So the previous 82. Started back in January of 2021, on which my wonderful first officer and I embarked upon a daring mission to explore all of real Star Trek and to seek out and review all of every episode, all 735 segments of what constitute real Star Trek. What constitutes real Star Trek, you may ask? Easily. It is 1966 to 2005. No, nothing else after that counts as legitimate Star Trek. And you can say, who are you to decide that? I'm me. That's who. That's all. Who do you have to be, right? So I don't care what some stupid corporation calls Star Trek. So we've reviewed the original series, of course. We did in production order, in fact. Then we reviewed the animated series, the original crew films, then Star Trek of the Next Generation, which we finished just a few weeks ago, and its films. And now, just a couple of weeks ago, we've begun upon the journey. I guess you would have to call it the fourth leg of this journey.
Yep, fourth leg.
Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and we are now getting close to the middle of season 1. We have 4. We usually do 4 episodes a night. Tonight, of course, we will be doing. Actually, this is 82. I'm sorry, I got it. But 83, I got ahead of myself. It's 82, not 83. Sorry. Anyway, We will review 4 episodes tonight, as always. And what we do here is after we get through giving our information, talking about the episode, number one here reads some text about information about the episode and plot and different various facts about the episode. And then we talk about what we think about it. And then we let our fantastic chat each give a few segments of their own opinion, their own views of the show, and we all rate them usually on an A to F system or scale. So, without further I will show you a copy of the book that number one is using, and she will tell you the rest. So I'm turning the con over to my great first officer, number one, to tell us what is going on, and we'll get started.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Captain. If you're listening on a podcast, you're podcasting this like it's an old-time radio show, there is an image on the screen for those in the live chat who are participating in this show via their computer. And it's a book called Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Companion. It's written by Terry J. Erdman. He gets a bit of help from his wife, Paula M. Block, who is normally, for this show, the primary author. She's a prolific author for Star Trek. And we rely upon her because, of course, Paula M. Block and her husband, Terry J. Erdman, they write books that are based on original source material. And original source material is incredibly important when you're doing one of these review shows. And the reason being is, unfortunately, the way that the internet is now, when people are discussing things that happen on Star Trek, they usually go to places like IMDb and they look up trivia and they look up all this information on the shows, and they go to places like Memory Alpha and Wikipedia. And the problem with this is that in many cases, what has happened is it's helped to further factoids. Now, factoids are things that get spread around so much, falsehoods, they get spread around so much that people are very certain that they're facts, and they're not. And that's because these formats are user-generated information. So the boss went and found me this glorious book. This is an extremely rare and expensive book. I have no idea why, but for this iteration of Star Trek, we'll be using this book to discuss the summary and use that as a launching off point for the boss and I to talk about what we think about the episode, and then we mix in the chat. So it's going to be a heck of a good time. As Commander Data would say, saddle up, lock and load.
Yep. So, are we ready to get started on our first episode of the evening?
I think we should.
Okay. By the way, hello there, Papa Delta Yankee. Hello.
Hello,
there.
Papa Delta Yankee.
Welcome. I hope we're doing well tonight, and it is great to see you. Okay, let's see here. So we're ready to get this started, get the show on the road. Now, let's see here. I guess I will. Well, I had something something to say before that. But no, we'll do it after that. I've changed my mind. Okay, so we're ready to get going here for our first episode of the evening, folks, which is excuse me.
It's the unfortunate case of move along home. Okay. This is a season 1, and most of you, I think, who are streaming this will see this as episode 10, but it is production code 410. We all watched this for the first time on March 15th, 1993. And let's stay copyright compliant by mentioning the book again from where I'm going to read and the page, and that is Star Trek Deep Space Nine Companion by Terry J. Erdman and Paula M. Block. And I'm going to start reading from page 35. I'm going to read extemporaneously, and it's very important that I say that. One of the reasons why I don't pre-read these texts is because I want to experience it with you, and it's a rule I have. And you know, our entire show, I should mention for all the new people who are here, this show is entirely organic. The boss and I don't discuss previously what we think about the episodes. We don't discuss them on our social media. What happens here is like we all met at a Star Trek convention and we're all just sitting around shooting the breeze. It's a very organic, great feeling. So let's get started. I am going to be reading from page 35. All right, so Move Along Home, episode of 410. The teleplay is by Frederick Rappaport and Lisa Rich and Janine or Jeanne, depends upon how the person would like to pronounce that, Kerrigan Fauci. The story is by Michael Pillar. It is directed by David Carson. Following a disconcerting conversation with his son about the birds and the bees and the Ferengi, Commander Sisko heads to one of the docking bays to officially greet a delegation from the Gamma Quadrant. The meeting with the Wadi, as the humanoid species is known, represents the Federation's first formal contact with representatives from the other side of the wormhole. And Sisko is determined that his crew give a good impression, even if Bashir has misplaced his Starfleet dress uniform. However, the Wadi have no intention of either formalities or pleasantries. They're interested in games, and they've heard that Quark's bar is the place to find them. Disappointed, Sisko delivers the party to the Ferengi's establishment, and Quark, motivated by the promise of Wadi gemstones, introduces them to a game of Dabo. When the Wadi win too often, Quark resorts to cheating, but the Wadi catch him at it, and their leader, Follow, offers Quark the chance to engage in a Wadi game. Quark accepts and is introduced to the game of Chula. Follow declines to tell Quark anything about the game beyond the fact that he must move his 4 game pieces through the various levels, or shaps, of the board game. As Quark begins to play, a peculiar thing happens. The 4 station representatives who greeted the Wadi, Sisko, Dax, Kira, and Bashir, suddenly find themselves inside a peculiar maze, prompted to move along home by the image of Follow. And each time Quark moves one of his game pieces to a new shap, the crew encounters a new challenge within the maze. Alerted by Jake that the commander is missing, Odo soon discovers the disappearance of the other 3 senior officers as well. As he begins his investigation, Sisko and company encounter Chandra, a little girl who is chanting a rhyme while she plays a game that resembles hopscotch. Noticing that there is a door on the other side of the room, the 4 attempt to get to it, only to be bounced back by a force field. When Dax realizes that Chandra is able to pass back and forth through the field, they repeat her rhyme and emulate her movements and successfully reach the door. Back in the bar, Quark receives a nice pile of gemstones for reaching the 3rd shap, and Fallow tells him that he can double his winnings by doubling the peril of his game pieces. Odo arrives to ask Quark if Quark knows anything about the 4 senior officers. Remembering that he has 4 game pieces, Quark glances at Fallow, and something in the Wadi's expression tells Quark that he is playing for far more than gemstones. Alarmed, Quark chooses the safer path for his pieces. In the maze, the 4 officers face another challenge and successfully reach the 4th shap. While in the bar, Quark receives more jewels. Suspicious, Odo leaves the bar and has a security officer beam him over to the Wadi ship, where they have picked up a strange energy reading. But Odo has barely begun his investigation when he finds himself back in Quark's bar. Certain, that the Wadi game has something to do with the crew's disappearance, Odo orders the game stopped, but Fallow states that stopping the game will cause Quark to lose the players. Quark continues. But an unfortunate roll of the dice causes Bashir to be swept away from the others by a swirling energy field. As Fallow removes the game pieces, Quark opts to take the remaining pieces on a shortcut, which he hopes will make the game end more quickly. But the move results in the loss of another game piece, and within the cavernous portion of the labyrinth, Dax injures her leg. Sisko and Kira refuse to leave her behind, despite the threat of an impending earthquake. The heroic gesture is to no avail, however. The three fall helplessly into an abyss and find themselves at Quark's place, along with Bashir. Fallow tells them that although Quark lost, his players were never in any real danger, since they were, after all, only playing a game. And I'm going to stop there. This is merely an excerpt from the extensive coverage and behind the scenes information offered in this marvelous book that I will once again say is very rare and very expensive. So now I'm going to throw it over to the captain. Captain, what did you think of Move Along Home? Is this a good episode? Is this a bad episode? Is this an ugly episode? What did you think?
Well, first I want to say greetings to the great J-Man popped in for a second. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Good to see you there. Hope I don't know if he could stay, but I think he had to run. But Wolfie's here. Hey, Wolfie. That thing is clobbering him big time there. The thing popped in. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. I hope no one snuck in when I wasn't looking there. All right. I have a pretty serious announcement to make about this episode, folks. Hey, Scuba Pete's here.
Scuba Pete!
I had to call him Scuba Pete. What's up, buddy? Okay.
And Leslie. Scuba Pete and Leslie.
Hello there. I'm afraid that I'm going to have to ask everyone when you finally don't do your reviews yet. Don't start yet. When you do your ratings, I'm going to have to limit you to know. In other words, when you do your A pluses, you only do about 5 pluses because you can't do too many pluses. I know you will definitely want to put A 10 or 15 pluses and stuff, and keep to a minimum like 10 pluses when you do your A plus on this one. This episode is so unbelievably great that I just probably have to sing it again for the third or fourth time ever. I think I'm going to have to decide that it is not only the greatest episode of Star Trek.
What?
I'm going to burn all of my Star Trek DVDs. I'm going to never watch anything again because, quite frankly, there's no other episode of Star Trek ever again. This episode is so unbelievably brilliant and great that I don't think we should ever watch any other Star Treks again. Nothing is worthy of this. Nothing could ever top this. Nothing could ever reach the heights of grandeur and greatness.
You've got to be kidding.
Of this episode. I think, for example, if you were making a top 10 list of the original series, I'd still say you have to put this on there at number 1 because it's so much. In fact, I think the original series was probably only created as someone who saw this and then went back in time and created it. It's a paradox. Captain Time Lord Spock can back me up on that.
Kidding.
It's so good. I don't think there are going to be enough A's and stars for it, quite frankly, and can never watch another. And again, we may have to cancel the show because I don't think we can review any more Star Trek. This has ended it all. It's so good. It's the greatest television. Exactly, Scotty. It's the greatest hour of television ever.
Oh, Scotty, you guys are kidding, right?
It is. Quite frankly, I wish I was watching it right now. To be honest with you, in fact, was just earlier today. I was going to eat a pizza, but I watched this episode instead. And I ate a lousy hamburger.
Wendy?
I got a call from a gorgeous redhead, and she wanted me to come over and hang out with her and said, hey, we're going to have a lot of fun. I said, no, I'm going to watch this episode instead. I picked that. just to say how great this episode is. I don't want to spoil or anything, though. So where were we again?
It's terrible.
So, are we talking about this episode yet? Okay. All right. Move along. I want to go home. Thank you, Maximum. I see you, Max. All right, look, let me be fair to this episode for a minute. No, screw it. Let me not be fair to it. No show is perfect. The original series is not perfect. We don't have to have that conversation about TNG, do we? No M&Ms. Hey, tonight it's Hershey Symphony Bar and popcorn. It's only a game.
Jimmy, honey, I'm so sorry.
God. This episode is so great, even Jack Cover wouldn't feel worthy of trying to draw a comic adaptation of it. That's exactly right, T, but I should have. Thank you. A little bit late, but appreciate it. I'm not saying it's worse than Masks or Sub Rosa or And the Children Shall Lead, but I think every show needs a Spock's Brain or an And the Children Shall Lead. They need it. This is okay. The premise is not that bad in the sense that you put the people through this crazy thing and it all turns out to be a game. Big joke at the end. Actually, and I'm not even kidding there. I'm actually that's fine. It's the execution, and I can't show the clip, Mark. I can't because of some problems, but I appreciate it. Not only because of copyright things, but because the cringe factor is so bad in this episode.
It is.
I think you could break all of your cringe muscles when you watch this episode. I mean, Jesus, mother of God! Yeah. DS9, what is wrong with you?
Well, Dave Carson has been on record, confirmed. David Carson has been on record, confirmed. This is confirmed. This isn't some stuff you get from some user-generated website. He complained. He said, like that they used so much of the money for the pilot that there was no budget to do, this concept. And it led to arguing and fighting amongst everyone on set to the point where on a go forward basis, whenever there was a problem on set where they thought that the episode was going to tank or the episode wasn't good, the actors and production people and the director, everyone on set would start saying Alan Moraine.
See, it might work with a budget in the sense that, okay, you're taking them, you're putting them in, and it's really inside their mind, and they're going to like these very, really outdoor, really dangerous things they're going through, being put through. Some along the similar lines, this is them trying to do sort of like shore leave in the sense that they're going through these things that turn out not to be real.
Yeah.
With some semblance of a budget, and then they come along with the punchline at the end. Hey, it's only a game. Okay.
Yeah.
With that properly executed, it could be a fun, cute episode and interesting.
Yep.
But it's so, I guess, because I think my biggest problem with it is not just some of the stupid stuff with these aliens are really annoying, but when they're going through the whole little whatever the hell game, they never explain to you at all what happened at all. They have no explanation. I defy you to give me an explanation of what was going on with whether it's going on inside their head, whether they were actually in some physical realm somewhere, whether in another pocket dimension, where they were on a holodeck, something like a holodeck on the ship of
were
the
they
aliens.
Spirited away by the Wadi?
Were they?
Yeah, and what it leaves is, this sort of idea that it's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and they're actually in the game, and I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, Chuck. Thank you, Chuck. Yeah, in the 50th anniversary, they voted it the worst episode of Deep Space Nine. So if this is the worst episode, and it probably is, and we'll be okay because it's probably still not as bad as Sub Rosa or I'm not defending the episode, by the way. But it's still maybe not as horrible. It's just cringy. And the hopscotch scene, let me tell you something. I think if I'm one of those actors, hello there, your old toys, welcome.
Your old toys. Nice to see you.
I bet they wanted to quit when they were told they had to do that stupid hopscotch scene. That is so embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for those actors. I watch that now and go, you can't be serious. Yeah. We have to do that?
Yeah.
This is this, no. Oh, look, I guess if this is worse, we're getting it out of the way. How about that? So that's a positive, right? Yeah, I'm not saying Code of Honor bad or anything. Let's face it, I don't think they'll get anything worse than some of the TNG bad. But, oh my God, man. I guess the biggest problem here, what makes it so bad, other than that idiotic scene when they're playing hopscotch, is the fact that they don't give you any proper explanation. It looks really cheap and stupid when they're running around in that whatever the hell it was. And by the way, how did Quark and Odo know what was happening to the crew? All he said was, "You better do something, or someone's going to die." And he showed them these little pieces of the chess pieces. How did they know that the crew was in? Even though we know now they weren't in danger. Why was Odo so upset, thinking he was going to get everybody killed?
The guy never told them. Was clearly trying to act as sinister as possible.
Yes, but how did they know? Because of a couple of little chess piece thingies or whatever.
I don't know. I have that in my notes as well.
Okay, well, go home. Go with your notes. I'm sure you're right. Go for the
notes.
No,
it's okay, honey. The thing is that it's hysterical how similar our opinions are, and even the things we say. So I see this as like a dumb man's shore leave. Instead of having grand ideas like Lewis Carroll and these complex illusions, we have something that isn't illusion. We just have something that's childlike. So it's rather insulting. Right. That hopscotch scene. That's a far cry from using illusion to draw on your experience with Lewis Carroll. Anyway, right. I love the single father-son portrayal in this show. And I think it's just absolutely beautiful. I love seeing single dads portrayed this way, and I think it's incredibly important that we continue to do this. I always feel annoyed. Everyone at home, I rewatch Star Trek. It takes over 667 hours to rewatch all 735 iterations of Star Trek, starting on January 1st every year. So every time I watch this episode, I'm always like, why doesn't Julian just replicate a uniform? I don't understand why he's like, I don't know where my uniform is. It's weird.
Yeah.
Exactly. Isn't that weird?
That makes no sense to me.
It doesn't make sense. He could just replicate it, or he could go to the tailor.
Go to Gary.
Go to the tailor. Quartermaster, right? In military, It would be quartermaster. Just go see the quartermaster. They're on a station.
Yeah, that made silly.
Yeah, and the sex sticks as currency. So when they take out the little chopsticks and start, and he starts, displaying them, and you can clearly see that he's trying to make some type of sexual connotation. This is a cool idea. First contact would require establishing shared value in materiality. So yeah, I did not like the sex sticks. I thought that was strange. What are you going to do with a sex stick? That looks stupid. Stop doing that. Stop moving it all around and raising your eyebrows. I think his name is Joel Brooks. Joel, stop doing that with your eyebrows. Nobody's putting that chopstick anywhere. And then after that, I wrote, this is kind of a cool idea insofar as first contact would require establishing shared value. And I really like this. I think this is a terrific idea. Then we have more single dad stuff. Then Quark is caught cheating. And then I write the following. Excellent so far. All clear. All good until this point. Then the dumb starts. That's when we introduce this Chulla game. Cisco wakes up in a game made by the Wadi. We have a whole bunch of extremely silly dialogue that does not make any sense. We have Jadzia walking down the hall going, who's making all this racket in here? Instead of saying, where the F are we? She's like, who's making all that noise down that hallway? It's some of the dumbest dialogue in the history of Star Trek. And then we have Jake being adorable in his conversation with Odo. This is a really sweet little moment. I just love this little Jake fellow, and he did such a good job. Cirroc Lofton, that's his name, right? I think he's a marvelous young man. Then I wrote hopscotch dumbness. And of course, this is where all of my notes are about shore leave, about how we have this Lewis Carroll. We have this very high-minded illusion. We have this, working these literary devices in the TOS. But here we just literally have adults playing hopscotch. It's dumb. And when they figure it out, why not just demand their return? So there's a point where they're standing in front of the Chula game, and they start to they start to make weird facial expressions, like they think that they're in the game. So at that point, why doesn't Odo say, "Return my people immediately"? But that doesn't happen. We have two whole more scenes that go by before he asks this.
Yeah.
Then we have bizarre leaps of logic and understanding. We just have them meeting eyes, thinking that everyone's going to die. It makes no sense. It's super dumb. Then we have some goofy rationale and more goofy dialogue, especially the part where once they realize that that Cisco and Jadzia and that they could die, Bashir and Kira could die, Quark says the following: "Blow on them. The dice." So this is a life or death, or so it seems, and here he is asking them to blow on his dice. Just really weird. And also the acting in this episode is absolutely effing terrible. And then I wrote in yelling all caps in pencil on this piece of paper, "This is utter effing nonsense." And welcome, Midnight's Oblivion.
Welcome, Dalek 451 and Shooter
8323. Hey, Dalek and Shooter.
Midnight's Oblivion. Yeah. Welcome to you all. Great to have you here.
So yeah.
I want to say real quick, Chuck Marvel had an interesting thing. He said Ronald D. Moore stated that when he watched the episode prior to joining the Star Trek Deep Space Nine in 1993 writing staff, he was wondering if everyone had lost their minds. Well, it's hard to blame him. And I have my issues with Moore, but yeah, I got to throw in with him on that one. Wow. Yeah, you see that and go, guys, but, again, it had been horrible at this point up until now, but all right. But, okie dokie. Well, this sucks. This episode is
bad.
It's bad. And it's bad because you knew you couldn't do it justice with your budgetary concerns, I guess. So why do it at all? It's absolutely incoherent. It's an incoherent. It's an idea that maybe could have been something, but it's handled in a bad way. And it's incoherent. They don't explain any damn thing. Why did these aliens come here? That's pretty much an act of war when you put people in danger. And then the cop out, it's only a game. You didn't earn that because you never explained shit.
Yeah, and he changes his personality too much. So he goes from being villainous, and it's very obvious to a human being that he is emoting the same way a human being would. There's nothing alien about this race other than the tattoos on their forehead, and so he's acting very sinister. And then all of a sudden he acts very jovial and very, innocent. And it doesn't make sense that Fallow behaves this way, because he is behaving like a human. Perhaps if the Wadi could disguise their emotion to a much greater degree, it would create that suspension or the tension, I should say, a tension there where you're wondering, what is the intention of this species? But that never happens. We just have this very humanoid creature that emotes exactly like a human being would, and he's acting very sinister, and then for absolutely no reason does a complete about face and starts acting jovial like no one was in any danger. It's dumb. Crap.
So
Rob Altus.
Hey, Rob Altus. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Wait a minute. This just we have a special envoy has just showed up, folks. We have a special bonus review of this episode, folks.
Crap.
But please don't let us prejudice anyone's views on that. So, number one, what is your rating of Move Along, I Want to Go Home?
I give it a D-.
Okie dokie. I give it an F Minus. F this show in the face. F anyone who F everything about this episode in the friggin' well, you got. F it. Just F it. F it with an infinite amount of minuses. So, my friends, now it is that time. I will give the word. The word is given. Please give your ratings of this lovely episode and any words you may have. Keep it down at least to lower than 7, if you could. And while number 1 is taking the point with the stars, I will bring us some maximum redstone entertainment. We have deserved it.
Yay! Maximum redstone. You heard the boss. Fire at will.
Fire at will, Riker. All righty. So, hang on a sec. All right. Okay, folks, the great master of the limerick himself, Max Redstone, has once again come through, and we do appreciate you, Maxie. Thank you, buddy. He's here we go. So, Move Along Home by Max Redstone. Gamma Quadrant aliens, to the station they came. Quark tried to cheat them. That was a shame. There was cheesiness and farce. Cisco's crew was handed their arse. At least now they can all do the Alan Moraine. Whoa!
Keely Chow!
Roll Tide. Nice work, Max Redstone. Thank you, buddy.
Excellent work, Maximum Redstone.
Yes, sir. Ishness. Appreciate you. Okay. Keely Chow. It's good to see you, my friend. Let's see here. Hope your tide is rolling.
It's a sporking raid. Scotty sent you all over here. Thank you, Scotty.
Yes, big shout out to the great Sporking News podcast. Please find their channel and subscribe to that if you haven't already. You probably have because it's a great channel and it's a good channel. But if you haven't, please do. They're amazing and great folks over there. Okie dokie. We got enough. Cool. Here we go. All right, everybody. So I will now. Number 1 continues to star those. I will start reading your reviews. Midnight's Oblivion gives it a C. Thank you, Midnight's Oblivion. Appreciate that. Dave's G Sound says, yes. Where are the writers?
Mm-hmm.
Barely amusing attempt at DS9 comedy, badly done by actors who obviously knew better.
Yep.
Still a dumb guilty pleasure comfort trek in a coma I wish I'd had. D+. Didn't you give it a D? What did you give it, a D+? Or
D-?
D-, gotcha. The great Pat S., who was obviously drinking something, says A++. 1, In the Pale Moonlight. 2, Duet. 3, Move Along Home. Well, yeah, are the top 3 DS9 episodes ever.
Surely you just.
If I had, don't call him Shirley. I'm sorry. If I had the choice of traveling back in time to have dinner with Steve McQueen, Richard Pryor, and a 21-year-old Tuesday Weld. Wow. 21-year-old, oh my goodness. Or watch this episode again, no choice. I'd say there is my 2-episode. I'd say, where is my 2-episode $29 copy of Suncoast VHS tape? I got me some classic Trek to be watching. Well, it is. So basically, you bask in its glorious magnificence. I can see that. Not. And hang on, everyone. I'm calling an ambulance to go to Pat's house right now. Yeah, you guys better get over there. Bring straight jackets.
Pat's going to be in an I Love Me jacket by the end of the evening.
Pleasant Valley Picker says, F this episode. That never gets old. Seriously, they couldn't come up with a better name than Awadi. Sounds like something that happens when you buy cheap toilet paper. Whoa. My goodness, sir. Whoa.
Oh,
nice. Way to go, Pleasant.
Very like Canadian joke. I love it.
Hopscotch. We can dance. Everyone look at your hands permanently skeptical. Well, you can dance if you want to, and you can leave your friends behind. But, if your friends don't hopscotch on Deep Space Nine, then they're friends of mine.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Captain.
If they can cringe, I can cringe. I'll cringe just as bad. You like that one? Kid didn't like that one. I'm trying to make you cringe even worse in this episode, and that could happen. Michael Beacom says, D-. You skipped it, but in the book, Michael Piller compared this to an episode of The Prisoner. What? I will punch him in his throat if he was already gone. Rest his soul. May the rover devour his face. No kidding. What arrogance. Having just played D&D hours ago, where we were solving puzzles.
Yep.
In a dungeon. In theory, it could have been good. In execution, let's just say they missed the mark. This is a first contact scenario. What in the literal hell? And the Federation, hang on, I got to get to your next one. Got to get you, hang on a second, Michael. Okay, breaks into their ship. Who taught them diplomacy? G. Gordon Liddy? Wow, I hadn't heard him in a while. How's he doing? The only redeeming elements are watching our characters interact, but the main scenario is brain damaged. Agreed. And it's coming from someone who has permanent brain damage, me, and it's not even a joke, by the way. I'm right there with you.
I believe that he compared it to The Prisoner.
Yeah, I mean, rest his soul. If he were alive today, I'd have to punch him.
That's really bad. Michael, how could he? Oh,
I'd have to seek him out and say, dude, on the behalf of Patrick McGowan, whap! Upside the head. In a nice friendly way.
Nincompoop.
We don't advocate violence around here, but sometimes it comes to that. You've got to spare the
Your agonizer, please.
Your agonizer. Agree is the official Clobberin Times artist. Yowza, you are indeed, sir. D-. If not for Kira's sexiness, it'd be an F. Well, yeah, and it's combined with Genji's sexiness too. So if you're going to use sexiness, that can't count for an episode because even the worst shows ever have some, anyway. At least with this episode, it's proven that Pillar's love of cheesy Lost in Space episodes equals mine. Soggy, sweet meat pie. Yeah, the Great Vegetable Rebellion all over again, isn't it? Not quite like that, but you know what I'm saying. Wolfie says, rating C. If this is the worst episode of DS9, wow. TNG sucked as a whole. I really like back and forth with Odo and the new Starfleet security officer. Lost many commanders. Yeah. Like I say, that's the problem. There are things in there, with Odo and Quark and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my God. Okay, so Michael Beacom sent me to page 37. It's here. I just have to read this for just 2 eggs of a dog's tail, everyone. Okay. Please listen to this. I won't read the whole thing because this book goes on at length, like a lot. So just bear with me here, but I am going to read this small part. I cannot believe this blasphemy. Look at this. Move along home. This is from page 37 of the Deep Space Nine Companion. So this is confirmed. Okay. Move Along Home, originally titled Sore Losers, started out as a story idea by Michael Piller, who, according to Kerrigan Fauci, received at least partial inspiration from the old Prisoner episode Checkmate, where the residents of the village were required to serve as human game pieces in a life-size chess game. The original idea was that the crew got caught up in a sort of village-like atmosphere. Sort of surreal, she says. When the cost of the building sets to suit that concept was deemed prohibitively expensive, alternatives were sought. For a while, Piller even considered shooting on Paramount's New York Street, which had found occasional use in TNG, but that idea didn't pan out either. Oh my God. Oh my God. He compared this episode to The Prisoner.
It's one thing to say you're inspired by it and it all got kind of screwed up. I know what he's saying, to be honest, but yeah, don't even dare mention Checkmate around me, buddy.
Oh my God.
Checkmate is one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen, ever made, amongst other brilliant episodes of The Prisoner. Don't even start that, buddy. Wolfie's finishing up. I'd rather watch this than Masks, Up the Long Ladder, or Ghost Sexarosa any day of the week. No, look, yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I'll agree with that.
I love you, Wolfie.
But the stupid ass, I think that I'm not. It was I think if the hopscotch scene hadn't happened, and some of the dumb stuff with the guy popping there, yeah, move along home, popping in there every now and then, I probably just would have been a little bit like I wouldn't have liked it or anything. It would have been like that hopscotch scene puts it over the top or into the toilet for cringiness.
Because it's so literal. Like with the prisoner, you have chess, and there's a surreal sort of nightmarish quality. There's a poetic and nightmarish quality to it, right? And then, of course, with a shore leave, you have these titans of fiction that are a part of the illusion that is being created in this in that episode. In this, it's just literally hopscotch. Head desk. And can I just say, Larry's here.
Larry. Oh,
Some folks say Larry's name twice, but he's such a kind fellow. I ought to say it thrice.
Good to see you,
Larry.
Welcome, buddy. Good to see you. So our buddy Gwagnar says, grade F. Quark is so out of character. Why does he care about the crew at this point in the series? I'd say only because he didn't want to get in trouble, for he's worried about himself. I mean, that would be my answer if we answered honestly. He's always scared he's going to be responsible for their death and get his ass taken to jail. So, which would be true, I guess, right? Maybe in a later season, I could understand his reaction to their peril, but he doesn't know them yet. Yeah, I think he's just worried about his own skin, Gwagnar. But yes, I'm with you. It's so stupid. The episode's terrible. Midnight's Oblivion says, "C, it was fun on shrooms." I will keep that in mind if I don't eat shrooms. I can see what you're saying. I think I see where you're coming from, though.
That's funny. That's cool.
Shooter says, D, why is it only the Federation? Why is it only the Federation has to jump through hoops during first contact? That's a good point. Yep. Shouldn't alien cultures have some requirement to adhere? Another one-dimensional species? Yes. That's a very well-made point, Shooter. A story that has a moral beaten into it. The Wadi game is problematic. How do they observe, interact with the crew? Do they randomly end up in the game in their culture? That's the thing that really I didn't really get. No one's seeing what's happening to Cisco and the crew. You're not seeing it.
Yeah,
we're seeing it as the audience. Right, we're seeing it as the audience, but
that's right.
The people in Quark's bar are not seeing it. Quark and Odo are not seeing it.
Yeah, and they have no idea. Yeah.
So it made no. Look, if there had been, let's say for example, the same things happened, and that machine or that game was showing them, showing Quark and Odo and everyone what the dangers that the crew are allegedly being put through. That might be something that would give the episode more gravitas because you would know. But as it is, you don't know. No one knows what's going on outside of the Wadi and, of course, the people inside of the stupid game. It's dumb.
Even if something would have been like, even if it would have been like the games from the 1970s that we used to play when we were kids, where they would move, like the pieces would move independently. They wouldn't be moved by Follow or anyone else. They would move independently, and they would appear before something rather ominous. Now that could be like a 3D imaging of something, you know what I mean? Or it could, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
There had
right.
They were not conveying the journey. So you don't feel anything because you're wondering how the hell, the whole time you're wondering how the hell they even know they're in any danger because they're not watching what we're watching.
No, we see it, but it was so much moronic.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
Ever watch Takeshi's Castle, Takeshi's Castle, Wipeout, or Ninja Warrior? I don't think so, sir. This seems like the same thing. Watch people do obstacle courses, often humiliate them with prizes to the winner. Yes, except the people in the bar aren't watching it. They can't see it.
Pew pew. I watch Wipeout because my husband and my offspring find it hysterical, and so I have watched Wipeout, and I know what you're saying.
Okay.
It's
right.
It's pretty funny.
I know what you're saying, but the people in the bar can't see it, so maybe the Wadi can see it somehow. I don't. It's bad.
They can see it with their sex sticks.
Yeah, I guess there you go. Still, it is a memorable, and there is a lot worst out there. One to watch with young kids for its fun, silly nature. Remember, it's only a game. Now that, yeah, it's only an episode. So there you go. Well, number one, if you want, you can read. We can switch for a second here. After do one more. Let me do one more, and then one more single, and then we'll get to my great friend ED. D- says Wendy and Jimmy from the Warriors. My hairdresser is going to ask why I'm missing clumps of hair. Nope. Drink heavily before rewatching this episode. Passing out is a better option.
Please drink responsibly. She's only kidding.
I hear you, Wendy.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So now you have a lineup there. If you want to, I will switch for a second, and we've got ED and our wonderful communications officer Jill. So go for it.
You got it. I'm going over to the star tab right now, and we've got Enigmatic Drop Bear, the erudite bear, and our favorite Enigmatic Drop Bear has given this a D. He's got a 3-parter. He says, similarly to TNG's The Game, the story concept had promise, but its execution was awful. The Wadi's use of advanced technologies was incongruent with the game's asinine puzzles. So true, so true.
Deep.
2 of 3. The story bears some similarity to Alice in Wonderland, though Lewis Carroll wouldn't envy it. Yes, you see, isn't it funny that Enigmatic Drop Bear saw the same thing we did, which was them trying to rip off Shore Leave. I love this Enigmatic Drop Bear. Unlike Alice in Wonderland, it was neither interesting, layered, nor particularly thought-provoking. Agreed.
Yep.
And 3 of 3. Enigmatic Drop Bear says, even the Wadi's makeup was cheap. Were those foreheads a feature of their species or tattoos or ceremonial makeup? Whatever they weren't very alien. Exactly, right? Exactly. Love it. ED, stand up and take a bow, honey. I absolutely love your review. And now we're going to move on to Antiderivative Jill. Fellow nerd, fellow INTJ. She's got a 3-parter. She's going to give this an F+. The prophets aren't the only magical beings in the Gamma Quadrant. These game-loving, one-note aliens have a blinding box game replicator ready transform your Dabo table into boredom. 2 of 3. She says, come play in a drab labyrinth of nonsensical obstacles while believing you are putting your friends in danger and not having any clarity of rules while the Wadi laugh at your suffering. Yeah, the champagne scene was Bizarro World, wasn't it? And 3 of 3. Even still, good character moments exist with Cisco promising to put some time aside to teach Jake about girls and Quark showing his desire to save his friends over profit. Ergo, the plus. I got you, sweetheart. Nice review. Very nice review, sweetheart. And Claudia, I'm going back over to the live tab.
Okie-dokie.
Go ahead and get at those stars.
Papa Delta Yankee says F. Episodes like this are why I feel obligated to watch at least one episode of every new Crap Trek show. You feel obligated? Wow, okay. I hear you. Well, thank you so much for that one. And I'm totally concur with that rating, sir.
I beg your pardon, Captain. Mm-hmm. Please excuse my interruption, but our wonderful friend Gwagnar has to leave. He says, unfortunately, I have to leave. I'm just going to put him up on the marquee quickly. He says, unfortunately, I have to leave, so I have to watch this later. Have a good night, everyone. Everyone, please say good night to our wonderful friend, Gwagnar.
Take it easy, my friend. Great to have you here. We appreciate you.
Thanks for being here, sweetheart.
The Catman, a.k.a. Didi Meyer, says, I thought this was trash. If they would have spent more time on the story, it could have been something. I give it a D++, blah, 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 a lot of pluses there. Thank you. I hear you. Thank you so much, Catman. Raymond Feliciano says, I think this is the greatest episode ever. There are too many A's at the end.
Poor Raymond.
To give this thing. It's fantastic. And I hope everyone watches it again and again. Oh, no, he says D. A small D at that, not even a capital D. All I can say, please move away from this episode. We're working on it, dude. Give us a chance, huh?
We're getting some feedback here from Anti-Derivative Jill's comments. Yeah, the Enigmatic Drop Bear and Anti-Derivative Jill, both of your comments tonight were just simply outstanding. And Enigmatic Drop Bear is quoting Anti-Derivative Jill in the chat, and everyone's loving it. Labyrinth of nonsensical obstacles. Perhaps that's what we should rename this episode.
Indeedishness. Sandra Feliciano says D. Crazy premise. My guess is the Wadi deliberately made Quark think that they were going to die to punish him for cheating unrealistic behaviors. Couldn't suspend disbelief. Dumb content overall.
Great review, Sandra. Thank you.
Yep. I guess that's a good point there.
It
the
is.
Great Maximum Redstone says D+. The Wadi are a big wad. They are poorly written and superficially executed. They are Packled's bad.
Oh.
Wow, that's true. Packled's bad. Oh my goodness. Why is Cisco handling first contact other than the fact that DS9 is there? I can see why he has to handle first contact though. He's the boss. So what game are they playing? Shoots and ladders? Life? Too bad they didn't play Clue. Alan Moraine, count to 4. I'm not going to say it. I'm not singing that.
Don't. It's already in my head. Don't give me an earworm.
And it's worse having to hear Avery Brooks sing it.
I know.
I love Avery Brooks, but man, dude, that's when he's singing that, I want to scratch my ears off. Your Old Toys gives it a B+. Not my favorite episode, but also not my least favorite. So you have an episode of DS9 that you dislike more than this one, your Old Toys. I cannot wait to find out which one that is, man. Thank you for that. The Great Edit K says D. Much like Clobby, I love the plot and storytelling by the writers. If the whole series is made like this, we shall be rejoicing in a wonderful show.
Boss man, I just wanted to let you know that our good friend Mr. Tickle Trunk has walked through the door.
Hey!
Evidently, he has some error. You know how difficult it is to use these stupid little chat windows. So he's just letting you know, and he sent you a little gift. So I've starred the required material, so you'll see that in that starred column. But I just want to say hello to Mr. Tickle Trunk and let him know that I know that he's here, and I'm announcing he's here. And thank you so much for the gift for the boss.
Thank you so much for the $2 super chat there. Mr. Tickle Trunk, appreciate you, buddy. Apologies for my broken sentence. You'll get it. I haven't seen the broken sentence yet. Oh, that one up there. I got you. You're cool. No apologies ever necessary around here, buddy. It's not how we roll, man. Just scared to call him school, but Pete says D-. It was so bad, I want to drink something hopped or scotched. Wow.
He is the pun master. He is the pun daddy. Pun Daddy Pete.
Chuck Marble says, I rate it AK+ because it's nearly as bad as Alex Klutzman level writing. Wow. Enough said. Yikes. Yeah, it's. I mean, although does he ever really actually? Well, yeah, it is that bad. Whoa, man, that almost. But they have episodes that are closer to that. Yeah, it's tough to look. That's the one thing you can say that Klutzman's useful for, to compare something bad to him. He's useful. You can go, wow, that's almost Klutzman bad.
He's the litmus test for crap now. If you want to detect poo, you just swipe it on Klutzman.
Mark it on your calendars, folks. We finally found a use for Alex Klutzman. It is Clobbering Times is breaking that news right now at 10:14 p.m. Central Standard Time. On August the 6th, 2022, we do have an official absolute use for Alex Klutzman, and that is to have something bad to compare things to. Now, it's not really worth it. I'd rather not have that, but at least there you go. Let's be fair to the guys. Now we got some use for him. Neurotonax Amanda Bear says B-. It was incredibly corny and didn't make sense. I don't take it seriously, and it's so bad I kind of like it now. Well, that's a fair cop. That's a fair cop, but society is to blame. Let's see here. Find some outsider says D. I had no idea the safety dance was so popular to the DS9 writers' room. We're these people. We're these people also responsible. Maybe he meant where he actually put the apostrophe there. I'm sorry. Were all these people responsible for Biodome? Probably. They probably came around at the same time. Probably.
Yeah.
They need to. I think it means be held to account for Alamarine and the crew of Pauly Shore.
Oh no! Don't say Pauly Shore.
That's
something all of Gen X would just like to forget.
Yeah.
On behalf of all of Gen X, we want to forget the name Pauly Shore.
Yeah, I don't even like having to say his name. Thanks a lot, Phantom. Mr. Tickletrunk says F. I rated it a boring out of nonsense, but I think that's what you mean. Okay. Yeah. I think watching Quark gave himself an umok while watching Quark give himself an umok while Kira yelled at him for 45 minutes. Then this ridiculousness. Oh, I think okay, I got you. Divided by zero, rub it out of existence.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tickletrunk. Dalek 451. Good to see you. He says a solid F. This episode put that wretched rhyme in my head forever. Enough said. Yes, sir.
Dalek, it makes
so much.
Me nuts.
I so hate it.
Terrible earworm.
Give it. Larry says give it a DS 4.5.
Ooh,
thank you, Larry.
Good.
Jill said, Wolfie, I still don't know why Raquel calls them sex sticks.
Okay, so the reason why is because if you go back and rewatch it, he takes out the chopsticky things and he introduces them. And he starts raising his eyebrows, indicating like that there's something sexual. And then he puts his fingers on either end of them and moves them back and forth and says that they are used for intriguing or interesting and pleasurable purposes. And yeah, that's why I call them the sex sticks. And it's so weird because you're just thinking to yourself, what in the hell is he trying to imply here? Those are chopsticks. Like they're great for sushi, but why is he putting his eyebrows up and down saying that they're that they can help, with pleasure and they're intriguing? And no, they're not. I don't know where you're putting your little chopsticks, dude, but I ain't eating at your house.
Oh my goodness. Well, get away from this episode. The great Mark D with the caboose. The final review of this episode of the evening. D. I'm just kidding. He gives it an A+++. Let's see. Interesting, brilliant idea. In fact, wonderfully executed. This is absolutely what Star Trek is all about. I think this is probably, if not the greatest episode of Star Trek, certainly in the top 10. No, to hell with it. It is the greatest episode of Star Trek. He agrees with me. Anyway, no. So, Cardinal Sen, welcome. Thank you for that. I'll get right to that. Let me get this review out of the way. D, interesting idea, but ridiculously bad execution. Why weren't they playing Risk? Chutes and ladders is way too simple.
Good evening to the Dadman clan. Hello, Dadman and Dadman clan. Welcome. Nice to see you folks.
Yes, indeed. Good to see you, Dad. Dadman's here? Oh, man. See, I can't see the thing.
Cardi's here too, and of course he brought a present. You know that already, though.
Indeedishness. Quark doesn't have a less obvious way of rigging the table than other than an obvious button in the 21st century. Yeah, that's a good point. Cisco leaves Quark along with the Waddy. Yeah, another good point for the chief engineer. All was not lost. This episode was nominated for an Emmy Award for Outstanding Individual Achievement in Hairstyling for a series. Bring back the mullet. Wow. So you want to watch some fun hair? Watch this episode, folks. I'm not even saying that word anymore. I'm going to ban that word.
Don't. No one.
Blank is going to give me a migraine. You sure you don't want to play I can't play the clip. No, I will. It's not good, dude.
Oh, you're very welcome, Jill. And those weird sex sticks even have a name. But the whole time that he's trying to sell them as some type of pleasurable or intriguing device, you're thinking to yourself, dude.
Even if I wasn't scared to get dinged for that clip, dude, which I think it will because of CBS, and I've been getting every time, no matter what. I'm just not going to do it anymore with any of their stuff. And I appreciate you very much for making it, buddy. I enjoyed it. It still has that word in there, so I'm not sure I would subject everyone to that. That scene's so horrific. I don't know if I could subject anyone to that. I think everybody would leave the show if they saw it.
Boss man,
Yes.
you received another gift from Cardi in the same
I got it right
amount.
here.
Cardinal Sin, right, what a sweetheart of a man.
Cardinal Sin with a $9.99 super sticker and another $9.99 super sticker. I can't see those, but I don't have the thing at where I can see them. But Cardi, thank you so much, my friend. You are too kind, buddy. And I thank you. You're always so generous. I hope you are doing well, my friend. Hope you're having a great night. Everyone, if you have not already, please go to Cardinal Sin's amazing channel and subscribe to him. If anyone could get that link up in there, I'd appreciate it. And it's good to see you, bud. So, are we done with this?
We're done. We're done. We're done.
Who's done with move along? I want to go home.
Yes, anti-derivative Jill. She just wants to finish up on this conversation. Yes, if you look online, they actually publish all of the scripts for this show. So if you were to look up this episode and just press Control F, you're another computer person like I am, and just type in sticks, it will populate. And it is it's one of those cringy, awkward conversations where you're like, so what exactly do you do with those sticks? And yeah, I hope they're single use only.
If this episode was needing chopsticks, it would be a poo-poo platter. Which really is actually a thing that actually exists.
It is. A poo-poo platter is real.
Come on, say it, Chloe. It's just once a year. I can't do it, Neurotic. I can't do it. No, thank you, Steve Mitchum. Appreciate that, buddy. Okay, so here we go for our next episode, folks. Are we ready?
We're ready.
All right, let's get back to business here. That would be Mind the Right. Is it the Negus?
It is the Negus, boss. This is season 1, and for most of our viewers, that's going to come up as episode 11, and that's of course unfortunate because they've messed up the amount of episodes here. So I'll just say prod code 411, and we all watched this for the very first time on March 22nd, 1993.
I think after that episode, I deserve a piece of popcorn. Does everyone agree? Thank you. Yeah. I'm going to eat one more of this. Go ahead.
Oh, Sandra Feliciano says, good night, everyone. Sorry, I can't stay awake any longer. We'll listen to the replay tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us, sweet lady, and have a good morning. Get your rest. I know you have a very early morning on Sunday mornings, so take care. Thank you for joining us.
Good night, Sandra.
Okay, let's do this. I am going to be reading excerpts from a book called Deep Space Nine Companion, written by Terry J. Erdman and Paula M. Block. I am going to be reading about the Negus, episode 411, teleplay by Ira Stephen Bear, story by David Livingston, directed by David Livingston, and I am going to be reading extemporaneously from page 38. But before I do that, Mr. Tickletrunk has a gift for Clobby.
Mr. Tickle Trunk, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says he's singing from one of my favorite movies. At least he's sort of singing from it. Show me the way to go home. I'm scared. Of course, the movie is. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. But unless you're changing it, they tried to hawk some sex six just an hour ago, and it's rather just. And I'd rather just be dead. Okay, it's the song from Jaws, although it's older than that. But he has changed it to appear to this episode, and I butchered it. I'm sorry about that, Mr. Tickle Truck, but yes, I see what you're saying. Show me the way to go home. I'm scared and I want to go to bed. They tried to hawk some sex just an hour ago, and I'd rather just be dead. Just for you, buddy. Thank you so much. You were too kind.
And I should let everyone know that Raymond Feliciano is following his wife out of the room.
All right, Raymond.
So good night to the Felicianos. And don't forget, King Dolphin TV.
Where all the coolest dolphins hang out.
Let's do this. Okay, so reading extemporaneously from page 38. When Grand Negus Zeki, the elderly leader of the Ferengi business empire, comes to Deep Space Nine with his son Krax and his Hyperion servant, and I can't ever say this name, so I'm just not going to. Quark is more worried than honored by the visit. He fears that Zack, a godfather-like figure, might just be there to make him an offer he can't refuse, the purchase of Quark's bar for a pittance of its real value. As it turns out, Zack does want the bar, but only temporarily, for an important business conference concerning Ferengi interests in the Gamma Quadrant. Meanwhile, Commander Sisko has problems of his own. Chief O'Brien has warned him that Quark's nephew Nog seems to be a bad influence on Sisko's son Jake. Sisko resists the temptation to split up the boys, but can't help wondering if he's made the right decision. Nog's father, Rom, has no such qualms when Zek expresses his disapproval of the Ferengi boys attending the Federation school on the station. Stung, Rom orders Nog to stay away from the school. Stung? What a weird choice of words, Terry J. Erdman. If I were your editor, I would have cautioned you not to use that. Anyways, Quark is surprised when Zek asks him to sit in on the gathering of powerful Ferengi businessmen. He's even more surprised when the Grand Negus announces his retirement and that his successor will be, dun dun dun, Quark. But Quark has barely begun to relish the power that comes with the title when he discovers another attribute of the job: death threats from enterprising Ferengi who seek to enhance their own financial futures in the Gamma Quadrant. Quark goes to Zek for advice, but the former Negus dies in the middle of their conversation. Quark makes Rom his bodyguard, laughing at his brother's desired preference to take over the bar. Not long after that, Quark narrowly escapes an assassination attempt. I'm reading off of a PDF, folks, and it's quite light. Although there are numerous suspects, Odo focuses on Zek's man who protects him, who hasn't been seen since Zek's death. While Odo conducts his investigation, Sisko worries about Jake's frequent absences. Once again, Nog is to blame. When Jake misses dinner one night, Sisko follows Dax's advice to track the boy down. Much to his surprise, he finds Jake in an empty cargo bay teaching Nog to read. I love that moment. Proud of his son, Sisko steals away without disturbing the lesson. Another attempt is made on Quark's life, and the new Negus discovers that his foes are none other than Zek's son Krax and his own brother Rom. Just as the duo is about to eject Quark into space, Zek appears along with Odo and, of course, his manservant. The Negus's death was a charade, or charade, don't write me letters, assisted by Zek's bodyguard and staged to test Krax's worthiness to be Zek's successor. Noting that Krax has failed miserably, Zek decides to remain Grand Negus for a while longer. Quark, however, is impressed with Rom's part in the treachery and rewards his brother by making him assistant manager of policy and clientele at the bar. And that's all I'm going to read from this section. That is from page 38 and 39 from Deep Space Nine Companion by Terry J. Erdman and Paula M. Block. So, boss, what'd you think of the episode?
I think this episode has got some good stuff in it. I like it. Okay, it's a decent episode as far as some character stuff. It's basically just a characterization episode. I know our buddy Steve Mitchell doesn't watch Deep Space Nine, but his good close personal friend, the great why am I forgetting the names? The actor's name now plays Zek.
It is Zek is played by what's his name? Warren.
Wallace.
Wallace.
Sean
Wallace.
Inconceivable.
Yes, Quark, I love him.
I love Quark now. I'm gonna make you Negus, Quark.
Yeah. Anyway, he's brilliant.
He's fantastic. I mean, I love him as I love the actor anyway. Well, I forgot his name. Of course, he's Inconceivable was also he played the dinosaur in Toy Story, and in Princess Bride. Great actor. Wallace Shawn was fantastic in this episode.
Yeah,
some of that stuff's kind of funny. it's a lighthearted, funny episode. I was more edified by the whole thing with, and I usually don't. It took me a while to get used to the nod Jake thing. Nog took me a while to get kind of warm up to him. I just thought it was a little annoying at first, but Aaron Eisenberg, bless him, he did a good job with that character. And the stuff with I'm just like you. That's such a beautiful scene with Jake teaching him how to read, and that was beautiful. That was a wonderful part of the show. The other stuff, it's kind of funny how Rom really changed, right? But on balance, I found it to be a fairly entertaining character study episode. Nothing, really spectacular or great. This show sometimes it is about its characters. And overall, a pretty entertaining, fun episode.
Yeah, I also think it's a decent episode. There is one problematic area to the episode that keeps it from being outstanding, but I mean, let's face it, we're still in the beginnings here. We're only on prod code 411. So we're still being introduced to these characters, and we've had our opportunity to meet several characters so far in these dedicated episodes that show us or tell us or show us and tell us who these people, these humanoids, these aliens, whomever they are, who they really are. And so this episode is our chance to become, especially older Trekkies, reacquainted with the Ferengi, and certainly for DS9 fans, for them to become acquainted with Quark and learn about him the way we learned about Dax. So, and I think it does a pretty good job of that.
Yes, absolutely. Notes.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Brandon the anime guy.
Brandon the anime guy. What's up, buddy? Good to see you.
Right, Brandon the anime guy. I laugh every time I hear Zach talk.
Yes.
Do you know that I know someone in real life who sounds exactly like Zeki? He sounds like, yes, like he sounds identical to him, and he's not doing it for effect. He actually talks like that. So I call him the Grand Negus behind his back, and I love him very much. I don't do it disrespectfully, but it's quite hilarious when the offspring and I are out and I say, "Hey, have you talked to the Grand Negus lately?" And she laughs hysterically. Anonymous!
Hey, Anonymous, hey there. Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah. So any other thoughts, Captain?
No, go for it with your notes.
Okay, so if you're wondering what the boss is talking about this notes thing, I take notes.
Masters is here, though. Masters Maniac Mexico. Hello.
Hey, nice to see you. Yeah, I take notes with a pencil and a piece of paper. And here they are. Recasting our idea of the Ferengi. The writers continue to introduce new species and new characters to us so we may learn about them. We meet the Negus and experience Ferengi culture. And then I wrote in yelling all caps, tube grubs and eating big bugs. There's a huge gross out factor here. And I think that it's very clever because when we were first introduced to Ferengi, it wasn't done exactly the way Gene Roddenberry wanted it to be done. And so they looked sort of like little chimpanzees on crack. And so they didn't turn out to be these terrible, scary, villains that were guilty of cannibalism and all the, and it didn't work. And so I love how in DS9 we get to see the Ferengi as villains, but in the context of their culture, and certainly in this gross out factor of these tube grubs, the eating of these big leggy bugs, picking in their ears, the umox, the fuzz coming out of their ears, beetle snuff. We're learning that they are scary creatures, but just not quite in that way. And by massaging these characters, we're able to keep this species alive in Star Trek. So I really like that the writers took it in this direction. Villain, but not quite the villain we expect.
Thank you, Cardinal Sen, for the 199 super chat. Get down with the sickness. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then we have Naked Avarice parodied. Some people say, oh, these Ferengi, they're too greedy to be believable, and it detracts from the value of the writing. As an author and an editor myself, a professional author and professional editor myself, I have to say that I wholeheartedly disagree. I see this naked avarice being parodied in a very clever way that is most enjoyable. It sort of reminds me of when you watch these documentaries where they chronicle the experience of people who are quite poor. They have this impecunious lifestyle, and they happen upon a huge windfall. They win a lottery, and it's an insane amount of money, and it's gone within, let's say, 5 years. This is the type of naked avarice that is dealt with in this character. And so when people say it isn't believable, that's simply not true. I think that's a very naive thing to say. Anyone who watched these Kardashian people on social media would argue in favor of what I'm saying, rather than saying that Ferengi are not believable. So I'm going to poo-poo that criticism because I don't think it's realistic. I think it's rather naive. Then I wrote in yelling all caps, Gran Negus Quark. This is a fun episode. Zeki dies. Of course, I have to call him Zeki because, oh, my little Zeki. We have weird Ferengi tube bug pet. I love the tube bug pet. I think it's just so cool. I know we don't get to see that throughout the series, and I sure wish that we did. If that were equal, if that were tantamount to something like a house cat, I love the tube bug. The Ferengi tube bug is just super fun. And many of you who know me and know me well know that I love the puppetry. I love modeling. I love artisanship. I'm not a big fan of the CGI. So seeing that puppet on there and seeing it done to that good effect, I just absolutely love it.
Right.
I eat it up. Now, here is my one bone of contention, why I can't give this episode a really high mark. And I'm quite easy on DS9, but Rom tries to murder Quark, and no one is charged with attempted murder. Yeah. Not Rom and not Zek's son. Little Zeki's son there, Cracks. He's not charged, and I think that's weird.
That's silly.
It would have been better to make it two strange Ferengis and then charge them, sort of haul them away and have them trying to bribe Odo as they're being hauled off to the stockade. So I did not like that part of it because the Ferengi are not above the law. And certainly we have Odo micromanaging everything Quark does because Quark's always up to no good. And yet here we have an attempted murder. Right. And nothing happened. So it's my one bone of contention, boss.
Right, because you think Bajoran law would have, would do something about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's true. That's true.
So Starfleet.
That's all I have to say on this episode, boss.
Well, everyone, now again, please, your old toys. You probably don't know about this. Always hold back on reviews till we call for them, so we can get them all. Mm-hmm. But thank you. But you're okay this time, and remember next time, so we can all get them at the same time. We're not ready for reviews yet, by the way. I'll give the word in a minute. What is your rating of the episode The Negus?
I think it's a B. I don't think it's quite as good of a presentation of an entire culture like we saw with Dax. When we saw we saw her put to the test in a very complex way where we've got to see her culture and her honor, and we got to see the whole thing explained, and we began to understand the inner workings of how this symbiosis works with her symbiont and so on and so forth. It's not quite as good. I wish that it would have had a tidier ending, but I do love it, and I do think that it is unfairly graded low by a lot of people, and I don't agree with that. It's got to be a B for me. I think this is really good, except for that ending. I'd like to change that ending.
I actually gave it the same thing, a B, a decent episode that's entertaining, has some great stuff, especially the stuff with Jake. What he's doing for Nog. That scene was very touching. So on balance, an entertaining and decent episode for sure. So a B's were up. about where it should be for me. So, all right, now everyone, I will say, we'll give the word. Please give any ratings you may have on the episode of the Negus and any comments you may have. And while you're doing that, number one, we'll star those comments.
I will.
And I will bring us some maximum red zone entertainment after we get this from Cardinal Sin.
What a sweetheart.
Thank you, Cardinal. You're too kind, buddy. He says, this is my favorite Saturday night stream, bar none. You guys are so entertaining. It's better than actually even watching the episodes. Hail to Clobby and Raquel and the mods, and hail to the chat. Well, I don't even know what to say to that, man. You're just too kind, buddy.
Just love you so much. Thank you for your support, and not just your support, like your financial support. I mean your friendship and your feedback and always being here for us. Gil, I think you're such a wonderful person, and I hope everyone will follow you and get on over to your channel, to your Twitter and to your YouTube channel and support you. And thank you so much for that. It is such a great pleasure to have you here, and your feedback and your friendship means a lot to us. Thank you, sweetheart.
And yeah, thank you so much, Gil. I cannot thank you enough, as always. And Mr. Tickle Trunk for 2 hours. Thank you so much. Mr. Tickle Trunk says, here. Another one. You're just too kind, too generous. Thank you so much, my friend.
Love you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Thanks.
Sir. And by the way, shout out, hail Mega Cropper. Mega Cropper's here with us.
Hey, Mega Cropper's here. Yeah. That's great.
So yes, well, while you're gathering while you're gathering the reviews, I will bring us some maximum redstone entertainment. How about that?
Maximum redstone.
All right, everybody. The great lyricist himself, Maximum Redstone, has been kind enough to bless us with 4 limericks again tonight per episode. And now we have The Negus. So The Negus by Max Redstone. To Quark, Negus Zek confers the secession vest. The time comes, and Quark tries his best. Yet, despite all his skill, Krax and Rom conspire to kill. It seems they all failed the Grand Negus test. Nice! Always fantastic.
Lovely.
Well done, buddy. Well done, bud. Oh. So you got all those or what?
They're rolling in. Boss, you should find 25 in your starred tab if you just want to mosey on over there.
Gotcha.
You should be at nearly 30 now.
I'll let you handle that end of it. Now we'll get over to the starred. All right. Your Old Toys. Thank you, Old Toys. We appreciate you. Good. We're glad to have you here. F. I guess it's F. It's either a separator or an F minus. And I'm just going to go with F, I think. F does not like this episode. This is my least favorite Star Trek episode. I think I could have done better on some of the characters in this. Characters. This is only my opinion. Well, of course, and your opinion is welcome here. Thank you so much, Your Old Toys, and it's good to have you here. And all opinions are welcome here. Brandon of the Anime Guy says Negus grade A. Grade A minus. Sorry. The ultra capitalist aspect of the Ferengi are very interesting. They take it to extreme, but at the end of the day, they are the very backbone of commerce of the Alpha Quadrant and Beta Quadrant. Sorry. Hang on. They do business with everyone. While they do scheme, they do eventually become some of the best allies financially to have. In this episode, there are many holes in it. Got to find the third one there. Brandon, hang on a sec. There we go. There are many holes in it. But then again, once the Negus explains to Oda what's going on, he must have laughed himself silly to not charge Rom or the Negus' son. In the end, this is one I can watch over and over.
I agree,
Thank
Brandon.
you so much, Brandon.
So it bothered you too. Yeah, it does bother me. because, you want the consequences to be there, because without consequences, when you're constructing a story, without those consequences, there's no risk. When there's no risk, then the reader or the watcher, the viewer, doesn't feel like there's anything at stake. And when the stakes are low, people aren't interested. So I totally agree, and I love that it annoyed you too.
It just goes to show too, especially when you, of course, in hindsight now, meaning going back and watching it after seeing before, how the character of Rom is so vast. I mean, it kind of speaks to the point where we always talk about how even original Trek didn't always respect its own canon, or it contradicted itself quite a bit, like everything that passes itself, every fictional IP that passes itself from creators to creators, or creative people to creative people, I should say, writers to writers and such, always do that. And I mean, it's happened in comic books forever, and it's happened even something that's as long lived as Star Trek, whereas you get these characters and they kind of they'll forget, not just characters, they'll forget other things that they said in previous episodes and totally contradict them. In this case, they take this character and eventually they changed Nog completely. And I love that actor. What's Max Grodenchek or whatever you say his name? Yeah. He's really good. Nog becomes really likable and a really, just a much, I think, a better character. But the first few episodes.
You mean Rom?
Rom, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nog doesn't change really.
No.
Nog is consistent.
I know. I knew what you meant.
Sorry.
I knew what you meant.
Rom is totally. I mean, he was a total a-hole at this point. And in the earlier episodes, he was even worse. I mean, he was nasty.
Yeah. Irredeemable.
Absolutely terrible. And then later, he just became I'm not sure at what point, but I will note it when we get to it. When he changes on a dime and becomes likable and nice guy who happens to be smart.
Sweetheart.
Yeah, and becomes, he's smart and he's an engineer all of a sudden.
Yeah. A secret genius. Busman, I need to interrupt and just tap the brakes for just 1 second here. So not an all stop, but I do have to say good night to Scotty, R37. He says, thank you so much, Clobby and Raquel. I'm going to drop into lurking mode. Cheers to the chat and the mods, and good night, Jill. And it's very important that we know that, because Scotty is not going to leave you hanging if you're in a conversation with him. He's just dropping to lurk mode. And
Gotcha.
Boss, you have a couple of very generous gifts from our wonderful viewers waiting for you in the Star tab. Oh, TMF's here.
Oh my goodness, is he TMF? Hey,
Toxic Man Flu is here. Toxic Man Flu is here.
1999 super chat for Cardinal Sin. Thank you, sir, so much. Hey, good to see you, TMF. Appreciate it, Cardinal. Cardinal says, he goes to the rules of acquisition, unabridged and fully annotated, with all 47 commentaries, all 900 major and minor judgments, all 10,000 considered opinions. There's a rule for every conceivable situation. Arador. Do you actually have those, Cardinal? I wonder. I'm sure they printed them somewhere. The rules of acquisition. I would not be surprised if the Toxic Man Flu.
Yeah, they have that. Oh, here we go. TMF and Mrs. TMF. If Mrs. TMF is out there, Toxic Man Flu. Hello, my old friend. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
He said episode was awful, but it's no Reba concert. Thank you so much.
Okay, so Mrs. TMF definitely isn't around. If she were, he would say that.
And thank you to Max Redstone, who's feeling particularly sadistic tonight. Says with $2 a minute, he just wants to make me say Al Moraine, count to 4, Al Moraine, then 3 more. Well, 2.
Oh, Max Redstone.
That's dirty pool right there, boy. But we still love you.
More gifts are pouring in here, boss, and I have them all starred for you.
Thank you, Cardinal Sin. 999 says, au contraire, mon frere. Nog has a serious redemption arc, and he goes into the academy and comes out the captain of the Defiant. Yes, no, I was referring to Rom, Cardinal, and I accidentally said Nog, as number 1 pointed out. Yep. I'm well aware that Nog didn't change. He does have a redemption arc, so I was well aware of that. It's Rom I was talking about. It totally changed. If you caught what I was, you guess you didn't catch my correction, but that's okay. Thank you so much, and you're too kind as always, buddy, and thank you. Let's see. Get back on track here.
Max says in the chat that he's twirling his mustache and doing his best.
Oh, already got that one. Thank you again, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Well, Max, dude, let me tell you something, man. I'm not expendable, but I am stupid, but I'm not going. Wolfie.
And TMF says Mrs. TMF is in bed. So it's just TMF here tonight.
Hey, TM. Well, hail to Mrs. TMF anyway, and hail to you, sir. Thank you so much, TMF. Wolfie says, rating A-. Zek is a fantastic addition to Ferengi.
Mm-hmm.
Addition Ferengi. For a species that had to start in TNG equivalent to a smelly fart, they are really making a stink now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's true.
I think he had another one.
How do you salvage these characters that are this wonderful idea of Gene Roddenberry's, and that they've just failed to launch in a way that is in a way in which he wanted it to happen, and it didn't, and for them to be salvaged in this manner, and to have their villainousness exemplified through this revulsion, this physical revulsion, and then this ethical and moral revulsion. I think it's a stroke of genius, and we turn out to love the Ferengi as a result. So totally agree. And Midnight's Oblivion wants some beetle snuff.
Okay, I'm on it. I'm trying to see if
Oh yes, Enigmatic Drop Bear says no spoilers in the chat. No spoilers in the chat. We have people who are watching for the very first time. And Dadman Walking says, I'm sorry, I need to sleep, world, but I will be listening. 2 weekends of moving and house reorganizing has caught up with us, his whole family. So have fun for the rest of the stream. Good night, Dadman Clan.
Right,
Thank you for tuning
in.
You, talk soon.
Was there any other? Was that the only one by Wolfie? Because I cut it out of the star before I realized whether he had another one or not.
Oh,
usually, I forgot to look at how many he said he had. I
don't know.
I hate when I do that. I should have looked, but it may have been the only one he had. If not, look. I don't see another one.
I
scrolled down and didn't look. It could be just me messing up.
I'll go through them.
I hope that if that wasn't the only one, I don't see any other one. Anyway, maybe it was though. Maybe the only one. Mr. Tickle Trunk says. B-. I love when we're exposed to Trek cultures like the Ferengi, very different to the Federation. I hated the law being forgotten, attempted murder. Nog learning to read still gets me misty-eyed. Yes, that was very sweet. I love that. It was beautiful.
That whole thing of helping somebody to become literate, especially for us, for folks who are like Generation X or older. And, we had such a terrible literacy rate, even just like in our parents and our grandparents, literacy was a huge issue. Going to school was a huge issue. Many folks wound up working on the farm. They went to grade 7 and wound up working on the farm. So this is a very touching thing for people who are Gen X or older, and certainly for those who are learning new languages as well. So it's a very serious issue. It's a very touching issue, and it is quite beautiful, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Pleasant Valley Picker. We'll speed through these here, folks. I'm sorry, we got a bunch of them, everyone, and I'm not sorry about that at all. I love it. I really appreciate these reviews, everybody. You have no idea. Pleasant Valley Picker says B-. Grand Nigga Zek's son is named Cracks.
Yeah.
Man, I thought Wadi was bad. A good episode that begins to build and flesh out Ferengi culture. And yes, I would agree with that, sir.
Yep.
Let me find your next one. Is that the only one he had? I got a bad habit of not looking to see how many someone has, and I think that was. If I see another one, Pleasant Valley, I'll get it, but I forgot to check it. Hit me.
Don't worry about it, boss. People, and you know what, boss? A lot of people don't even mind if you just do it in order. So don't stress. Sometimes you have between 30 and 60 or 80 of those comments in that starred column. So you got to do them in order, boss. On behalf of everyone in the chat, we don't mind. We don't mind.
The great hungry boy, hungry is the official Clobberin Times artist, Yowza. C+, C for a clam pizza. Oh man, people are saying nasty stuff tonight. Ear hair jokes, Barthomatic. But I like Wallace Shawn and cute intrigue. So an extra point for those. Thank you so much, hungry. Michael Beacom says C+, 2 words, Wallace Shawn. Inconceivable. Quack. Everything else is only justification to bring him in. Waiting for the Negus to go inconceivable. Yep. Hated the Ferengi in TNG, but they're beginning to grow on me. It took Quark to make me like any Ferengi.
Yep,
it really did.
Genius on the part of the writers. Like I said earlier, it's such a great idea to massage them in a different direction using revulsion and moral revulsion as well. So terrific.
Armin Shimmerman's just so good in that role, by the way.
You know what's very funny? I'm going to do some research on this because I have seen in professional publications his name spelled with 1 M and also 2. And I see it going back and forth. And so I say Shimmerman. And then other times I'm seeing that it's 1 M, and then I know that it's quite possibly Shimerman. So I really wish that these publications would get it straight. Is it 2 M's or is it 1? And you'll see it going back and forth all over the internet. It's quite annoying. I hate it.
Oh, well, I hear you. Quark starts out rightfully suspicious, but drops it way too soon. How convenient. The climax of this episode for me is Sisko discovering Jake reading to Nog in the cargo hold. Absolutely ishness. I'm so with you there, sir. Michael Beacom, that was probably my highlight as well. I think so for sure. They act as if they're embarrassed by a well-written character moment. On page 39, they call the ep an homage to The Godfather. Whoa there, guys, not so fast. The episode was only competent. Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, that's a little probably a little bit on the.
I just love that Michael Beacom is instead of just adding stuff from the internet, he's adding stuff from the book, and he's actually reading the book. And as a teacher, I have to say out loud how much I love having cited material, not just rumors. And I love that he's reading the book and encouraging others to purchase and read the book. I love you, Beacoms. You're just fabulous people.
Badass says C+, not bad. It's no move along home, but I'd love to see Zek in future episodes. He will be there. He'll show up again, probably. Maybe, sort of. Shooter says B. Quark becomes the leader of his people. Inconceivable. The Gratitude Festival and Fire Caverns are first mentioned in this episode. Max Grodenchik or whatever has worked out how to play Rom. He's getting there, but man, it's not. He's not the writer. So, Shooter continues and says, Nog and Jake's friendship grow despite their cultural differences and complements the main story. The start of the Ferengi stories that build on their culture, usually with a bit of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Oh, Steve Mitchum's saying that on Armin's official website, it's 1 M. Geez, see, this is why I don't like the internet. This is why I like finite publishing. I like books because they're vetted, they're edited, they're correct. It's a finite process. So it's probably Shimerman then.
Mega Cropper says, hey, thank you, Mega Cropper. Good to see you, by the way. Thank you for being here. Hang on. Max Rudstone says, B+, while Wallace Shawn is brilliant as the Negus. This is a great Ferengi building episode introducing their cultural hierarchy, along with Hyperion. I guess it's Superior Beetle snuff, and post-mortem vacuum desiccation. Yes.
Oh yeah,
boy.
that's a good
That's the
point.
first one for that too. Yes.
Yes.
Yep. And Tiny Ron is in the episode, of course. The Jake Nog relationship give the episode heart as a counter to the Ferengi Space Pope for frivolity. Space Pope, I like that. Why does Odo not throw Cracks and Rom into detention for attempted murder? Dirty Rom. Yeah, look, as has been pointed out by you and others, I don't know. Oh, there's the other one by Pleasant Valley. Sorry about that. Since Quark is a major character, it's essential to build their society's backstory. Jake and Nog was a nice moment. Thank you, Pleasant. Sorry about that. That was me being silly and forgetful.
No, all right, you're fine. And Anonymous says that he has never heard it pronounced Shimerman. So he's pronouncing it Shimmerman regardless. Thank you so much for letting me know that, Anonymous.
I've heard that. He was also, like I said, at the same time, he was on Buffy for a while there, for a couple of years. Your Old Toys. That's one we already read before. Says F does not like the episode. Thank you. We already had that one. But he put it there again because anyway. Thank you, Your Old Toys. By the way, the Catman, aka D. Miner, says I give this episode a solid B. Thought the ending needed a little more work. Was a pretty good episode.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Catman.
D. Myers, I agree.
The great Scuba Pizzas B+. Always like this when the episode shows us a Ferengi lazy Susan. Inconceivable.
Scuba Pete.
The great Eric K. The Bronze Richard says B+. Love the Grand Negus. It is nice to see some background on a culture that we all hated so much. To understand them a bit more, to find a bit more common ground. True. Well, they did a great job. Brandon, the anime guy, says this episode grew on me over time. Fair enough.
I love that comment. Sorry I had to put that up. I know that wasn't a review, but just loved it.
And Midnight's Oblivion said any culture episodes get an A from me. Fair enough. Midnight's Oblivion, thank you so much. Dave G. Sound says B-. I favor Ferengi storylines, often comedic, good stories establishing a great character background. Well written and an enjoyable diversion. Thank you, Dave. Indeedishness.
Great review, Dave. Thank you so much.
Number one, if you'd like to switch a little bit, we have this Insta session. Our wonderful friends Ed and Jill. I will go back over to the other column and watch out over there.
I'm sorry if you folks can hear stuff happening in the background over my microphone, but it's quite hot here and I have to have the window open. There are people setting off fireworks and it's quite warm. And anyway, sorry, everyone. All right, let's get over to Enigmatic Drop Bear. He's an erudite bear. He drops the mic often around here. He's got a 6-parter. He gives this episode an A. He's saying, this episode provided interesting insight into Ferengi culture and made a significant step in their rehabilitation as a credible Trek alien species. 1000% agree. 2 of 6. A number of the Ferengi scenes were an homage to The Godfather. However, this did not diminish the episode. Rather, it was very effective. I think he means a very effective way of adding more depth and color to the Ferengi. Yeah, I love your reviews. This is great. We discovered the Ferengi's rampant and apparently chaotic system of capitalism actually operates under a set of codes enshrined as the rules of acquisition. This was an incredible innovation. Yeah, imagine being the author who added that to this show. It's just so great. I'm sure it was the whole team, but I just love it. I love it, Edie. 4 of 6. This story also featured 3 different father-son stories that were excellent counterpoints to the main story. Yes, isn't that great? DS9 has a wonderful legacy in portraying the father-child or the father relationship. And I love this. I think society needs to do it a lot more. It's one of the reasons why I like the new Battlestar Galactica, even though I'm an old Battlestar Galactica person. That's one of the reasons why I love that show. So excellent comments. Love these comments. 5 of 6. Cisco, Jake, and Rom Nog provided different perspectives on parental prejudice and loss of influence during adolescence. True. Zek Cracks was an essay in the challenges in dynasty building and succession. Totally agree. beautiful insights. The scene where Cisco covertly discovers Jake teaching Nog how to read was superb. It simultaneously reinforced the absurdity of prejudice and how parental mistrust can sometimes be misplaced. Certainly, right? You have to trust your kids to do the right thing, especially when they start to get to that age. Just stand up and take a bow. That was just an incredible review given this format. I cannot believe how well wrought your responses are and how you create conversation in this very, very limited, very restrictive medium. I love you, Enigmatic Drop Bear. Let's move on to Antiderivative Jill, one of my favorite nerds, fellow nerd. I'm a nerd too. It's not a pejorative. She's got a 3-parter. She's going to give this a B-. She says this episode establishes Ferengi culture and how they are the first real diplomatic force in the Gamma Quadrant. It also builds Ferengi as more successful in silent treachery than violence. Yes, this revulsion idea. Just love it. 2 of 3. Rom's character is undergoing growing pains, giving him a terrible subplot in which he goes along with Krax's plan to kill Quark. Rom will undergo lots of changes before he is figured out. And 3 of 3. A Vulcan stole my homework. I just love Jake teaching Nog to read. They are an influence on each other, which will be a treasure to follow by the end of the series. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler! Great review. Thank you so much. I'm going to leave the start tab now, and you're all going to pee your pants laughing as the captain reads off Toxic Man Flu's responses to this episode. Back over on the live tab.
First, I would like to thank Cardinal Sin. Thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat again. Thank you, so generous, buddy. I really appreciate that. He says, it's pronounced Shimmer Man. Yeah. I've been to the same Star Trek convention that he was.
Oh, nice.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Cardinal. Appreciate that. Thank you for the info there, buddy. Wolfie, with a $10 super chat. You're too kind, Wolfie. Thank you so much. You said 2 of 2. Oh, that's number 2. You had a number 2. Did I miss that or something?
He says, OMG, they deleted my comment because of the S word. So he used the S word, and so the algorithm vaporized him.
Is that what happened?
Yep.
Okay, well, you didn't have the super chat for that, buddy, but I appreciate you. You could have just, but we'd have found it, probably. If you, yeah. So, but thank you anyway. Appreciate that, Wolfie. But again, you're not necessary, but appreciate it. Thank you, sir. It says, questions that should not be asked. Tooth sharpener or sex stick. I am probably stating the obvious, but Ferengi likely use sex sticks in their ear. Yep. Tube grubs flavored sex sticks, no doubt. Wolfie, that's probably right, buddy.
Thank you, Wolfie. That's great.
Oh. The great Toxic Man Flu. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you and the missus are doing well. Says, grade C, part 546. No, 342. He's keeping those down there. The Nexus in Deep Space Nine.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was part of the awful plot from Star Trek Gyneration.
I
mean, Guinan's ecstasy. I mean, Gibberations. Yeah, generations. Man. Is he talking about Move Along Home now or the Days? You know. Let's see. Still grade C, part 547 of 342. I rom over some guy with my car. Oh God! But Starfleet doesn't prosecute for murder, so I'm good.
It's true.
Oh my goodness! Grade C, part 548 of 342. Without Riker's forehead entering stage right 3 scenes early, most Deep Space Nine episodes are already better. Boy, howdy.
The Decker Unit.
Indeed, this is grade C, part 549 of 342. Man, I'm no mathematician, but wow, it's time travel. Odo can morph into any form except that of Counselor Cameltoe. Some places even he won't go. Nice. Well done. Thank you for the greatness there. Toxic man flu, buddy.
Lovely.
You're too kind.
Yep.
I love it. Chuck Marble.
Gynations is going to stick though. Like that's hashtag worthy. You can take gynations to Twitter and hashtag that, because that is cherry. Chef's kiss to toxic man flu on that one. Gynations.
Chuck Marble says B. The first season was pretty serious, so the nega stands out for its different style. The humor made it fun, and it allowed Quark, his brother, and nephew a chance for character development. Indeedishness.
What's this? Larry saying, I'm spoiled, so I'll leave. Larry, you're not leaving, are you, honey?
Mm-hmm.
If you are, good night, but I hate to see you leave so early. You're Larry.
Spoiled. Is he spoiled?
I don't know. I love you, though.
Spoilering, you mean?
I don't know.
Larry, what's the deal there, bud?
I don't know, but I don't want Larry to leave.
But yeah, don't go unless you have
don't
to.
Don't go!
Spoilers or I don't know what's going on. No, well, let us know what's going on there, Larry. But anyway, it was a formative episode. The first time the rules of acquisition are mentioned, and the first time Quark threatens to toss Rom out of the nearest airlock. The joke was used for the whole 7-year run. Yes. Shimmerman fans got a treat as Quark learned being the boss isn't always desirable. In spite of the comedy, he adds some drama as Quark struggles with his new power, responsibility, and danger. Let's see here. Overall, I think it's a fun ep. I really liked its send up of the Godfather when Quark meets Nava to discuss a business opportunity. The scene alone makes it worth watching.
Nice.
This scene alone makes it worth watching. Thank you so much, Chuck Marble. Appreciate that review.
Great.
Now that and Amanda Bear gave it an A+. It's a favorite DS episode of mine. Thank you, Narat. Appreciate that. Cardinal Sin, thank you for this $1.99 super chat. He says it's the agony booth for Wolfie 762. He spends a lot of time in that agony booth.
He does.
And thank you for the $5 super chat, Cardinal Sin. He says Shooter 8323 could shoot a phaser at a Ferengi on the steps of Starfleet Academy, and no one would even report him. That's right. It's a fair call. And $2. Again, thank you so much, Cardinal. Appreciate that. Or even arrest him. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And indeedishness. And our final review of this episode is the great Mark D with the C, our chief engineer. He says, B, this episode was inconceivably good.
Mark knew you were going to say it that way.
He did. No, he did. Sorry, it's a habit. Such a touching scene when Sisko is looking for Jake and assuming he is up to no good, then finds him teaching Nog. That's my highlight for the episode as well. Although I don't understand how there could be no profit in school. How could the Ferengi become wealthy without an education? The Quark rewards Rom for his treachery. That's the thing. I mean, they can't read. I don't buy into it. Quark is really smart. Rom is really smart.
Mm-hmm.
Are they saying that they never? Again, look, that was very touching. It doesn't hold a lot of water though, because both of those guys. I mean, you have to. I mean, why would Rom deny his son? Make a son unable to read or not? I don't buy into it in the 24th century, even with Ferengi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, I know they treat females horribly, but
mm-hmm.
Rom's a son. It's great drama for the episode, but it doesn't hold water.
Yeah. I mean, he would at least need to know accounting. He would need to be able to render books. I mean, I understand this idea, especially coming from a family of immigrants, that it's very important to work in the family business. Right. And I understand what it's like, because I know a lot of people who grew up on a farm, what it's like to have to leave school very early because you have to help on the family farm. And it's imperative that you do. You don't have a choice. But here, I think it could have been handled a little bit better. And of course, this is why I gave it a B and not an A. I'd love to give this episode an A, but like so many other people, so many other folks in this great community have pointed out, it does have some holes, doesn't it?
Indeed. Love this exchange. Jake, you were always saying that we should make friends with other cultures, just because I believe that, and I'm glad you believe it too. but human values and Frankie values are very different. We've never been able to form a common bond. Jake, so Nog goes his way and I go mine. Yeah, that was a powerful scene. There's no question about
Yeah,
that.
sad.
Um, Cardinal Sim with another $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Moogie!
I love how progressive Moogie is, wearing clothes and running her own business. She really has the lobes for it. Yes, I love that stuff. Yes, Moogie. Yes, she's played by one of the Second City actresses. I forget which
I
one.
thought you should have to see this. Andrea Martin, yeah, a wonderful Canadian lady. I love her. They change it to another they change it to another actress later. But look at this lovely comment. Well, I know this isn't a review, but I wanted you to see this.
Thank you so much, Pleasant Valley Picker. Maybe I should choose you to be my successor as Negus instead of Quark. It's inconceivable.
Sorry, I know it's terrible, but I can't.
No, people love it. You have no idea how many people love your impressions. Your impressions are good. Your Gorn impression, I know it's painful, but it's amazing.
Maybe we'll break it out if they ever see the Gorn again. We'll bring it back. So are we ready to move on to our next episode? We got to get some speed into this one.
We're not going to move along home though.
No, let's move along to a better to another episode.
Yep.
Okay, the next episode is Vortex, ladies and gerbils.
It is. Gerbils, ladies and joims. Vortex is season 1, episode 11. For those who are seeing that pilot as a 2-parter, and evidently many streaming services are numbering it that way. So if the number is off, please know this is prod code 412.
Good night, Steve. By the way.
Good night, Steve. Thank you so much. Great having you here tonight, and thank you for helping me with that Shimmerman thing. It's nice to have a trusted source who's going out there and looking up this information. You know, a lot of folks think this kind of stuff is concrete, but certainly a lot of people in Hollywood anglicize their names, and there can be confusion, and there are a lot of languages and cultures in play. So I definitely appreciate it. I read all of your comments. I think you're fabulous. Please go lay down, honey. You've been taking care of a sick baby, and you're sick yourself, and I just want to see you and hear you well, honey. So good night. Take care, hon. All right. I'm going to be reading excerpts from Deep Space Nine Companion, written by Terry J. Erdman. And of course, riding second chair is his prolific Star Trek author wife, Paula M. Block. I have the PDF in front of me right now. I certainly won't be reading the whole thing because this coverage is extensive compared to Paula's books. So I'll just be reading excerpts, and I will be doing so extemporaneously. So please bear with me as I read off of this quasi-difficult PDF to read. Page 40. Let's do it! Vortex, written by Sam Rolfe and directed by Winrick Colby, or Kolb. I'm not sure. I'm not certain as to which language that is. So let's proceed. Page 40. Odo is curious about the unplanned presence of several new patrons in Quark's bar. Croden, a quiet man who has recently arrived from the Gamma Quadrant, and Akel and Roquel, a pair of twinned Miradorns, whom Odo suspects of being raiders. When Quark insists that Odo is simply being paranoid, the shapeshifter decides to investigate. Disguised as a glass that Rom delivers to the Hollow Suite, where the Miradorns are about to engage in a transaction with Quark. But the transaction goes awry when Quark attempts to back out of a previously agreed upon arrangement for a valuable artifact of dubious origins, and Croden enters, brandishing a Ferengi phaser and demanding the artifact. A scuffle ensues, and Croden inadvertently kills Roquel before Odo can intervene. Although Sisko suspects that the Miradorns were attempting to sell stolen merchandise, he has no proof, and therefore no reason to hold Akel, or, for that matter, Quark. But Croden is another matter, and Sisko and Odo attempt to interrogate him. The alien refuses to discuss the failed robbery, although he makes some intriguing comments about the existence of shapeshifters like Odo in the Gamma Quadrant. Sisko decides to locate Croden's homeworld, Rakhar, to notify authorities. In the meantime, following Akel's threats of revenge, Odo increases security around Croden's cell and quizzes the alien about his comments regarding shapeshifters. Croden offers to take Odo to a colony where some changelings, as he refers to them, still exist. And he gives Odo a locket that supposedly came from that place. The locket, which fascinates Odo, contains a stone that has the ability to morph into an intricate metallic shape, then revert back to its original form. Bashir's analysis of the stone indicates that it is an amalgam of organic material and crystal, perhaps a transitional stage between organic and inorganic matter. Very intriguing. I love that. The only life form bearing even a passing resemblance to the substance is Odo. Croden tells Odo that the stone came from an asteroid in an uncharted nebula called the Camera Vortex, and only Croden can guide Odo to it. But when Sisko informs Odo that Croden's people have demanded his return to RAQUEL, where he is wanted for myriad crimes, that option seems out of the question. Odo and Croden leave for RAQUEL, in one of the station's runabouts. While en route, Croden seeks to gain Odo's understanding by disclosing the nature of his crimes on RAQUEL, where he is considered an enemy of the people. And as a result, his family has been slaughtered. Odo remains impassive, and the circumstances change quickly when his vessel is attacked by another ship. Raquel has followed the runabout from the space station and means to kill Croden. Odo will not surrender his prisoner, but he knows he has little chance of evading the Miradorn ship. When Croden suggests that Odo allows him to pilot the runabout through the Camera Vortex, Odo relinquishes the controls. Hoping to lose Raquel, Croden lands on an asteroid, allegedly the home of the changelings he mentioned. But he soon admits that he doesn't know the true origin of the locket, and that it serves as a key to the only thing that matters to him, a stasis chamber located in a cave on this asteroid. Inside the chamber is the only surviving member of Croden's family, his daughter. Odo permits Croden to revive his daughter, but as the trio return to the runabout, Odo is knocked unconscious by the impact of Raquel's blast. Rather than trying to escape, Croden saves Odo, and when Odo awakens, he finds himself back on the runabout with Raquel's ship in pursuit. Taking control, Odo manages to trick Raquel into destroying his own ship in the treacherous vortex. After they leave the vortex, Odo surprises Croden by allowing the Rakari and his daughter to transport themselves to a nearby Vulcan science vessel. In return, Croden gives Odo the locket and wishes the changeling luck in finding his true origins. And that is all I am going to read from Deep Space Nine Companion by Terry J. Erdman and Paula M. Block. I have just been reading extemporaneously from pages 40 and 41. So I'm going to turn it over to the captain. Captain, tell me, what did you think of Vortex?
I think it's an excellent episode, and it has a writer credit for the great Sam Rolfe, creator of the greatest Western TV show of all time, Have Gun Will Travel, and worked with Gene Roddenberry a lot. And of course, the creator of one of the greatest shows, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. So he died not too long after this episode. I just looked up, and but again, got to shout out to him. No, I think this is a great character episode for Odo. This is starting us out on Odo. Odo's finally getting some of his story started here. Obviously, just started. Very, very new at this point. But I think it's a very well done drama. Very well. Just well done episode by all involved. I found it to be quite intriguing and quite compelling. Very fun, not so much fun, but I mean very well done.
Yeah.
A nice piece of drama.
I totally agree. I agree, and it always amazes me how much your comments that we do not discuss prior to the episode are reflected in my notes. And I absolutely love it. My husband and my offspring call you my Star Trek soulmate. Indeed, you are, sir. You are. As I write the words, they come out of your mouth, and we could be in two different rooms saying the same thing in almost the identical way. It's quite uncanny.
Well, thank you. Indeed, absolutely. I think Cliff DeYoung is one of those actors because he's got the makeup on. I know I've seen him in a million things, and I can't exactly always figure out what, but the guy was really good in it as well. Yeah, it's a good performance by him. And yes, of course, I'm a big Odo fan.
Yeah, me too.
So, what happened?
Yes. Oh, nothing. I'm just waiting for you to. I'm just reading the comments and waiting for you to finish your thought.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I had a I clicked on something wrong. So
that's okay.
I clicked on my others the wrong part. Anyway, so yeah, I found this to be a very intriguing episode. Very good character study. Really good moments between not only Odo and this guy. What's his name? Croden. But some interesting stuff with Randy Oglesby. That guy's been, how many times has he been a Star Trek alien?
Many times, and always makes a huge impact. Always does a splendid job. He delivers.
Really so again, a top-notch episode I found it to be. So without further ado, go for your notes.
Okay, so folks, I write notes as I watch the episodes, adding things that I know are true, not just stuff I found out on the user-generated forums. And what I'm about to read to you tonight through my notes is going to make you laugh, because almost every single thing that Clobby just said is in my notes. Rom places 4 glasses on the tray, but when he retrieves the bottle of alcohol, there are 5 glasses on the tray. We know it's Odo. This becomes the go-forward habit of fans. So it's very important to recognize that. I recognize that as somebody who rewatches the entire 66 to 05 every year, but this is that moment. This is the moment where we begin, where the pretend is so well wrought that we begin the habit of looking for where Odo is as a shapeshifter. And it's so wonderful, because this is the first time we feel it. This is the first time when we know Odo well enough that we start to say to ourselves, that's him. These keen observers, these keen Star Trek fans, that's him. We know he is the glass. The writers hint at Odo's origin and the nature of his being and his society. Now, the writers have been doing this with us as we get to know all these characters, we get to know these species. We learn Odo's species won't be explained in a single episode. Now, as a professional author and a professional editor, I have to say, I think this is a stroke of genius. And obviously, I'm speaking in hyperbole. It's not truly genius. I just think it's quite clever. But whatever, I'm allowed to be enthusiastic on this show. So I think it's a stroke of genius. Because what it's showing is that the authors, the team of writers that are sitting down to write these shows together, are really being thoughtful in how they're managing the storytelling, how we're getting to know people. And this is very important for an author. It's also very important for an editor. Because you don't want your television series and you don't want your book to feel like you're at a Greek wedding or an Italian wedding. And what I mean to say by that is, Greek weddings, there are always hundreds and hundreds of people there. And, as you meet people, you forget their names, you forget what they're up to. And so this treatment of doing these episodes where you learn entirely about Dax, enough to the point where you know her well enough to consider her a friend. And then you meet Quark, and you meet O'Brien, and you're meeting all of these characters, and you're learning about them enough so that it sticks with you. They remain with you. But here, the writers are clever, and they decide, they methodically, this is methodic, this isn't by accident, they decide that instead of just describing Odo in one episode, they're going to spread it out. They're going to make this a bit of a mystery because they want us to be attached to his pain. We know Odo because he's a stand-up guy. So we have this relationship with him. He's our friend. We trust him. We care about him. But all this stuff about his culture, we're going to learn what it's like to be so isolated, to be abused by your own culture, to feel like an alien in your own culture. And so this treatment of this character was done on purpose. I think it's marvelous. I think it is... I just think it's terrific. It's just such a smart thing to do as an author. It's such a smart thing to do as an editor. We're getting different treatments for different characters and getting to know them in different ways and revealing their secret pasts, their secret pains, or the fact that they're very upfront about their culture and that their culture is something hard for them to deal with or to overcome. So I'm just loving this. I love this choice that the writers made, that the writers room made and the editors made. I think that this episode has some really, really terrific dialogue for television. When we have things like somebody saying odious motives. This is amazing for television. Usually television, they write scripts for you that are about a grade 7, grade 6, grade 7 level in school, and they leave it at that so that it can appeal to a wide audience and people don't have to work too hard or think too hard. And here we have this wonderful diction, we have this eloquence, we have this beautiful writing. So we have odious motives. And then I love this point where he says, I'm sorry?
I was saying good night to Brandon. Go ahead.
Good night, Brandon. And then I love it, this moment where he says, as a thief and a killer and who knows what. This is what Odo says to Croton. And then I love how
Croton says it later.
He parrots it back to him because the writers are trying to show us how painful and untrue it was. So this is another stroke of genius in this. Of course, this is hyperbole. It's not genius. Back off. I'm just having fun. Let me have fun with this show. All you academics out there. But I love that he parrots it back, and it's used as a device to show that it not only hurt him, but that it wasn't true. So beautiful diction, lovely dialogue, but also the way the dialogue is played out. Very, very, very good. Randy Oglesby is wonderful as Akel and Roquel. I think he's amazing. Such a great actor. Sound familiar, folks? I sound like Clobby, don't I? Cliff DeYoung is excellent as Croton. Once again, I sound just like my captain. Odo is hit in the head, but he doesn't have a skull or a humanoid brain damage. So normally when you're knocked unconscious, it's because your wonderful little brain is floating around inside of your skull. And when you hit, your brain smashes up against your skull, and that's how you get knocked out. So I that's always something that I found problematic about this episode.
That was strange.
I also don't like the fact that he holds his shape when he should liquefy, because of course Odo discusses at length his attempts to maintain his human form and to mimic our ears, our nose, our foreheads, and things like this. So I think that was an oversight on the editing team's part, and I think they could have done a better job there. The editors and the director really should have been on top of that, and I blame them, not the writers. The criminal conflicted about saying his captor lovely. I don't know what that comment is. Obviously, I was just excited and wrote lovely. Complex, non-cliched storytelling. This is something I have to say about this episode. This is complex, non-cliched storytelling because we have Odo, this good cop who always does the right thing, releasing a prisoner. And so now I'm going to ask you to say in that crazy voice, inconceivable.
Inconceivable.
Right?
Hey, JT Kirk.
Hey, JT Kirk. Hey, sweetheart.
Good to see you, buddy.
And then my closing statement on this in my notes is, wow, this is a wholesome, kind, intriguing, and compassionate episode. So it's not perfect. I didn't like this stuff with Odo getting knocked out. I think we could have done something else there to, jeopardize him or whatever. Perhaps he could have been hit with lightning or something, and something like that. But just didn't like the fact that would be like cranial trauma, and
that was silly.
Yeah, it was, and the fact that he could hold his shape. But other than that, oh, yeah, the criminal conflicted about saving his captor. Yes, that's what I meant in this when I wrote this down. I loved that he paused. He looked at his daughter. He realized that he was not that man, and he wasn't going to be that man, and then he saves his captor. So that's what I meant in my notes. But yeah, I think this is a lovely episode. I think it's just absolutely beautiful. And for television, this is pretty darn high quality, folks. This is pretty darn high quality writing and even editing, despite its mistakes. This is really, really great science fiction storytelling, and it's quite marvelous.
There's some great, clever, writing between Odo and Crowden as well. Some of that stuff.
Yep.
Some of the, Crowden is, again, one of the clever things about the episode is you're thinking, if you're seeing it for the first time, that, he's up to something. He's just going to try to give Odo the slip, whatever. Then it turns out, you find out maybe he is just some kind of crook, and then you find out about the daughter, and about he was just someone who, on a very a despotic planet apparently, and he was just trying to escape and do something from his daughter. And then Odo letting them leave at the end was touching and terrific, and great performance by the great Rene Aubergenois.
Mm-hmm.
So all in all, just great stuff. Very enjoyable.
Yep.
And very well done. Very good.
This is good science fiction.
Yes, it is that. And there's also good drama.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your rating of Vortex?
I do have that thing with the cranial trauma that could have easily been some type of lightning strike that could have interfered with his ability to hold shape, sort of electrifying him or whatever. He should have lost his shape, and he definitely should have had some type of injury that wasn't cranial. So I have to deduct those marks. Other than that, this is an excellent episode. It's an A- for me, boss.
That's what I gave. Wow, we were so on the same page. And yes, Pat, yes, definitely, he's that guy from Benson. He's the guy from Benson.
Yeah.
But he sure don't look like it. That's what's so great about Aubergenois in this role. I mean, he's under that makeup, you can't see him. If you look at him in real life, you're like, he could play a tough guy, no way. But he plays a tough guy Odo brilliantly. He's just a great actor.
Mm-hmm.
So now I will give the word, folks, for your any ratings you may have and any comments you may have on the episode Vortex. Number one, we'll get those comments of yours in short order. In the meantime, I will give us some Max Redstone entertainment. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Maximum Redstone.
So Maximum Red.
And I just want to thank Mark D with the C. I think he's putting up some of that beautiful dialogue where the writer's room put together some really great dialogue, and Mark is treating you to that currently in the chat. And
as he often does. Well done, of course. Always, we appreciate it. Okay, let's see here. Vortex by Max Redstone, folks, the master of the limerick. Does Odo have shape-shifting family? So he takes the criminal Crowden. I'm sorry. Let me start again. Does Odo have shape-shifting family? So he takes the criminal Crowden to sea. Odo saves him from slaughter to retrieve his daughter using a shape-shifting deep freezer key. Wow. Nice, Max. Nice indeed, Maxness. That great Max Redstone, everybody. So let's see here. Helping you. Our buddy Brandon, the animated guy, had to run, but he did leave a little comment about the episode, so I thought I would bring that to us before I do. He said, I will give this episode a B. It is a decent one, but it is one I typically don't watch, but it sounds like I need to. Have a great night.
Well, thanks, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate you. Dave G. Sound says, love Odo. Would not be as impactful if done by another actor. Agreed. Writer for the part was usually excellent. Writing for the part, sorry. Love Rene Aubergenois, Benson U.S., Black Sheep Squadron, One Up, yeah, he wasn't, etc. Theatrical expert, B+. He was also in the masterpiece film in 1970, MASH, amongst other things. Shooter says,
pew, 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 pew.
B. I quite enjoyed this episode. I can't help but like Croden, despite being a criminal and serial liar.
Mm-hmm.
But he was doing it for survival reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Odo's decision to let Croden go with his daughter is touching and shows Odo's softer side. Agreed, Shooter. It was very touching, very nicely done. Pleasant Valley Picker says, A-. Any episode written by the great Sam Rolfe is probably worth seeing. I remember his work on The Man from U.N.C.L.E., one of my favorite shows. I love Man from U.N.C.L.E. United Network Command for Law Enforcement. Great show. I need to go back and start watching that again. It's been a while since I've watched it. It's so good. Pleasant Valley. That was one of two, I'm pretty sure. And does he have another one? Pleasant Valley?
I'm not sure. I'm just.
I just passed it. I'm an idiot. Sorry.
Okay.
Another world building episode. This one featuring Odo and what it is to be a changeling. Another solid episode for the first season. Much better first season than TNG.
Yeah.
I heartily concur.
Most of the stinkers belong to TNG.
True that for sure.
Not a lot of original writing in that series either. It's like it's borrowing things. It's like borrowing things from everywhere to create stories. So,
Indeedishness. Hungry is the official Clobberin Times artist. Yowza says A+. Rolfe's writing really sends me, and its pacing and atmosphere grips me, makes me feel involved.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me get to your next one there, Hungry. Often it's all about character actors for me.
Yeah.
So a team up of Cliff DeYoung and Aubergenois was a big treat, and Renee was captivating for me. Absolutely, totally with you. Odo is the impossible man from the Fantastic Four mixed with Judge Dredd, and I love it. I'm a comic book tragic. No apologies. Yeah. No, hey, no, you don't have to apologize here, buddy. I love that. I love how he is the impossible man in a sense, and he's very Judge Dredd. I mean, he is the law.
Pat says, wait till Raquel sees Voyager. They got some stinkers there too.
She's seen it.
Pat S., I have been a Star Trek fan since the 1970s. And I have watched all of Star Trek. And I continue to watch all of Star Trek every year starting on January 1st. Yeah. So I have watched Voyager. But thanks.
Pat S., you should know Raquel knows all the Trek. Come on. Don't you, boy? Man, remind me to
Voyager isn't my favorite.
Remind me to smack you upside the head the next time I see you at Mark's lace boy. Anyway, we love Pat S. Max Redstone, A-. Of course, Odo has to be conked on the head because later we get to see that he has a heart.
Aw.
He does indeed.
What a sweet thing to say. That's
indeed,
very
Max.
kind-hearted and sweet thing to say.
Yep. Indeedishness. A for Scuba Pete says, great episode. Odo really kicked some glass in this one. Always great.
Master Pete.
Jakey Kirk says 8 out of 10. The shapeshifters are harsh in their judgment, and so am I. Not bad, not great, somewhere in between. Thank you, JT. It's good to see you.
JT Kirk says, Raquel, wait, Kes isn't your favorite Trek character of all time? Oh yeah, I definitely loved watching her have a baby out of her back. That was fun. Yikes. Anyway, no spoilers.
I forgot about that. Michael Bacon says B+, a demonstration of show, don't tell.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Always happy to see Cliff DeYoung in any show. Great Odo episode. Regret how physics textbooks explode as Odo violates conservation of mass, but small issue.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Indeed, it's just
that's
Michael
so
B.
true, though.
Pat S. says B+. I'm ride or die for any Odo episode. My 17-year-old nephew loves True Trek only. Good. His top 3 favorite characters are Spock, Odo, and Dr. Phlox. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I love the kid. Anyway, you know what? I love Dr. Phlox, so I think he's good with all those. Obviously, Spock is on another level than anything, and I love him the most. But I love Odo, and I love Dr. Phlox, and I don't care who knows it. I mean,
well, Dr. Phlox is excellent.
The actor playing him, is a good actor, but a jerkweed. But I love the character. So your nephew is. You said it was a 17-year-old nephew. Well, he's got taste.
Can I just say before we get away from it, JT Kirk just put in the chat, "Baby got back." In my response to Kes having a baby out of her back. That has got to be a part of our Voyager review because I'm going to sing that little song. I want baby back ribs.
Baby back ribs. Applebee's. That commercial made it up there, did it?
I love you, JT Kirk.
Catman. Clobby thought this episode was B+++++. So that might move it closer to A category, hey, Catman, but we'll keep it there, though. Loved this episode so far. It's my fave of this season. Wow. And still not an A. You're very stingy with those A's, it sounds like.
You can love it, but like I think the thing is that Dee Myers that always sticks with him is if they overlook a detail, and that's what takes away the grade for him. So yeah.
I don't know if that's the case or not, but he's can have any rating you want around here. But thank you so much, DD, aka DD. Let's see. Masters Maniac Mexico says B+ because I didn't find the twins any intimidating.
I
gotcha.
I got you. You wanted them to be scarier. And Dadman Walking has re-entered the chat. He's saying, okay, how am I supposed to just lurk around here when you start talking about ribs?
About ribs? I don't know. But now stop making me hungry.
Sorry.
I've told you about that. Wolfie says, rating A. Fantastic Odo episode. The necklace is a nice touch. I love how they leave this guy with the Vulcans. Hope you like Plomeek soup. Well, considering where he was going, I would go with Vulcans. It'll be boring, but you get to live. Mr. Tickle Trunk says, C+. Aspects of the episode were great, but I found it all too predictable being a fan of television. I agree with everything Raquel says, yet on a rewatch, I found myself bored once again. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that, Mr. Tickle Trunk.
Yeah, but I respect that review. I love that you said that, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Thank you, honey.
All's good here, buddy. So I will turn it over now to Raquel, and I will watch the other side. And she will read reviews from our good friends, Enigmatic Drop Bear and Jill.
I'm getting my butt on over there, boss. Enigmatic Drop Bear, the erudite bear. He's going to drop the mic. I just know it. I feel it. He's got a 5-parter. He gives this episode a B-. He says, dissembling abounds in this story laden with plot conveniences. Enjoying this episode requires ignoring numerous implausibilities and questioning the moral ambiguities it presents. Ugh. To a 5. Croton is a criminal on his homeworld, and he committed a crime on DS9. He argues that his crimes were justified to protect his family. The thoroughly unlikable Miradorn, along with the intransigent and apparently cruel Rakhari, provided contrast and generated sympathy for Croton and Yareth. And also the fact that he said they killed his whole family. 4 of 5. We are asked to consider whether he should be returned to Rakhar to certain death or live in exile with his daughter on a different world, never to return to their home. Well, his whole family, they murdered his whole family, so I don't think he had much to go back to. 5 of 5. Odo exercised incredible discretion for a lawman and is now complicit in a cover-up. Odo's closing remarks, directed at the locket, perhaps explains his motives. One day we'll find home too. Aw, that's sweet. And let's go over to Anti-Derivative Jill. She's got a 3-parter. She's given this sucker a B+. Jill says, A criminal uses a shape-shifting key to strike interest in Odo about his origins and proves to care for his daughter, revealing Odo's compassion. I hope Croden is redeemed with the Vulcans. Is redeemed, I think she means. And 2 of 3. I enjoyed the conclusion in the runabout, and the tedious crime drama leading up to it manifests as a demonstration of Sisko's competence in protecting his people away from the station. Good insight. And then the energy source of the stasis field is not apparent, and the crate itself appears to be just a giant laundry chute. The movie Alien has a better stasis chamber. This is just a box. She wanted more science. And I'm going on back over to the live tab, boss. Oh, TMF just put up a... You got it, boss?
I started.
TMF.
Dave G. Sound says the only A in any Star Trek is Sub Rosa. Okay.
Gross.
Okay, it is an A, all right.
The sex lamp.
A piece of...
Green wet dreams.
Toxic Man Blue says grade is F. Comet is 1 of 4. Camel toes. Odo Shimodo. Whatever Raquel and Clobby say, I totally disagree with, just to be different. I always called this show Deep Sleep 9 because it put me to sleep. That's better than what I used to call it.
I love you. I love you
And,
so much. He has another one.
Oh, where? Okay.
He says, I'll put it up on the marquee. Okay. There you go.
Grade is F. Comment 2 of 4 camel toes. Just kidding. No one can take more than one counselor camel. I don't know what happened to Mark. I guess we don't have his reviews.
Mark.
So
now I want ribs, and I have ribs. I have Montana's ribs in the fridge downstairs.
Ah, guys. Well, I guess we're done with the reviews. Mark D, you out there, dude, or did you have something happen, or
Mark?
Did you have an internet kerfluffle or something?
Report for duty.
Well, where are you, Chief Engineer? No, he put something in the chat, but he just didn't. Unless his reviews disappeared or something. Give him one more minute here.
Maybe he used profanity. Although that's unlikely. The Scoutmaster. Oh, here he is.
Right. A-, great exposition on the character of Odo and how it feels to be an outsider. Lenny and Squiggy weren't that scary, but Croden was an interesting and conflicted character.
Lenny and Squiggy. I love Laverne and Shirley. That was a good show.
They were the best things on that show. I liked that all the answers about Odo aren't neatly wrapped up in one episode like TV shows today.
Yes.
Do, leaving you wanting more.
Exactly.
Let's see here. And in the end, we learned that beings have a lot of the same ideals in common, and their shape, form, or color doesn't matter. Yes, that's a very Star Trek thing there. Midnight's Oblivion says A was a good one. Thank you so much, and appreciate that. Midnight's Oblivion. I think we've got them all now. I think we're ready to move on to our final episode of the evening. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right, everybody. Our final episode of the evening is Battle Lines.
Battle Lines. This is season 1, episode, I know the number's wrong, but 13, thanks to streaming services. Please refer to prod code 413. We all watched this for the very first time on April 26, 1993. And boss, you just received a gift from TMF.
Thank you, TMF. Appreciate you so much. Toxic Man for $5 says Mark was reporting for duty. Duty. Never see a bathroom on the Enterprise. Maybe every species must use similar facilities. I've seen plenty of bathrooms on the Enterprise. Thank you so much, TMF. Appreciate that, buddy.
Love it, love it, love it.
Go for it, number 1.
Okay, I am going to be reading from the book Deep Space Nine Companion, written by Terry J. Erdman. He gets some help from his wife, Paula M. Block, who is a prolific Star Trek author who is notorious for having that original source material, which I absolutely love. I'm going to be reading from page 43, and it looks like just a little bit of page 44 as well. So let's get to it. Battle Lines, episode 413, teleplay by Richard Danis and Evan Carlos Sommers. Story by Hilary Bader, and this is directed by Paul Lynch. Let's do it. The crew is surprised when Kai Opaka, the spiritual leader of Bajor, pays a trip to Deep Space Nine. Not only is it her first visit to the station, but it is also her first journey from Bajor. Although the Kai says she is simply accepting Sisko's prior offer for a tour of the station, Sisko and others can't help noticing that she seems strangely preoccupied. When the Kai expresses an interest in the wormhole, Sisko offers to take her through it. Accompanying the pair on the runabout Yangtze Clang are Kira and Dr. Bashir. In the Gamma Quadrant, Kira picks up a narrowband subspace signal, and the Kai encourages Sisko to investigate it. Against his better judgment, Sisko acquiesces, and they follow the signal to a moon orbited by dozens of artificial satellites, one of which fires upon the runabout. Malfunctioning, the vehicle crashes to the surface of the moon, and the Kai is killed by the impact. Before Kira, Sisko, and Bashir can begin to assess their options, they are surrounded by a group of heavily armed, battle-scarred humanoids. The trio is captured and taken to a man named Shala, leader of the Ennis people, who informs Sisko of the war between his group and the other inhabitants of the moon on Null Ennis. Both sides of the battle are kept prisoner on the moon by the orbiting satellites. Sisko explains that he can take no sides in their dispute, but Shala says that it won't matter to the Knoll, who will assume by the crew's presence in the Ennis camp that they aligned themselves with him. Soon after, the Knoll, led by Zlanko, invade the camp, killing Shala and many others. Kira uses her phaser to drive off the Knoll, and they begin to attend to the wounded. Suddenly, a newcomer arrives at the camp. Kai Opaka, returned from the dead. Bashir determines that Opaka's physiology has been radically altered and that her metabolic processes are being controlled by a cellular-level biomechanical presence. Then, as the group witnesses the revival of Shala and the other quote-unquote dead Innis, Bashir finds that their bodies have gone through the same kind of transformation and indeed have died many times before. Shala explains to Sisko that the Innis and the Knoll have been fighting for many generations. Unable to mediate peace, their planet's leaders banished them to this moon to serve as an example to the rest of civilization. Refusing to accept the hopelessness of the situation, Sisko suggests that Shala initiate a ceasefire with Zlanko and stop the fighting long enough for the DS9 crew to be rescued. After that, Sisko promises he will transport both sides away from the moon and end the battle. Shala agrees, but Sisko discovers that the Ennis leader went along with the plan only to lure Zlanko and the Knoll out of hiding so he could slaughter them. As the fighting begins anew, Bashir saves Sisko from a death blow and informs him that he has discovered that they can't afford to die on the moon, not even once. The alterations that occur after death force the dead to remain on the moon's environment. If they were to leave, they would truly die, once and for all, even the Kai. In the second runabout, Dax and O'Brien have been searching for the missing vessel and have traced it to the moon. Avoiding the attack that downed Sisko's ship, O'Brien manages to raise Sisko on his communicator. As Dax and O'Brien work on a method to get the transporter signal through the satellite net, Sisko prepares to tell Opaka that she cannot leave. But the Kai seems to know that already. And as she knew that she was destined to come to this place, never to return to Bajor. The Kai believes the prophets have directed her to help the embattled inhabitants of the moon begin a healing process. When O'Brien signals that he has found a way to divert all of the satellites and beam up the crew, Opaka bids her 3 friends goodbye and prepares to face her future. And I'm going to stop there on page 44 and ask the boss, hey, boss, what did you think of Battle Lines? Oh, Clubby! Clubby.
Sorry, I thought I God, my computer.
Oh, no.
I thought it unmuted. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Boss, I'm just going to stop you for 1 second. Chuck Marble says, I tried to make it to the end tonight, but I'm not feeling well, and I'm going to take my meds and lay down. Nice to see everyone, and I wish you all a wonderful week. Thank you for being here, Chuck. And be well, feel better, go rest. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Chuck. Have a great night. Feel better. I think it's a pretty good episode. I think it's a very, an excellent, concept, science fiction concept. I thought. Always good to see my old buddy Jonathan Banks. He's always good in everything he does. Mm-hmm. It was I like, it's funny. I really like Kyle Opaka because, man, when we got Nurse Ratchet as Kai, oh my God,
yeah,
she made me miss Kyle Opaka even more. That was really sad, but it was an interesting idea. Overall, I think it's not one of my super favorites or anything, but I think it's a solid, an interesting idea and a pretty good, solid science fiction story. At least in my opinion, I like the episode.
Yep, me too. I absolutely agree. I think this is a solid science fiction, and I really enjoy it. And it's funny because I also like Jonathan Banks. I think he plays a wonderful villain. I hate Nurse Ratchet, and I feel not until like Kai Opaka dies, and then once we get Nurse Ratchet afterwards, like ugh. It's a yucky feeling. No, I don't think anyone likes
spoilers.
Her.
I don't think we did any spoilers other than, we're except this episode we're talking about. I just mentioned Nurse Ratchet. We all know that's just telling you about a character that comes on the show.
Wolfie's keeping us in line.
That wasn't any spoilery, was it?
No, I don't think so. But anyway, Enigmatic Drop Bear will let us know. Enigmatic Drop Bear will be like, "Hey, that's not guys, spoilery. Shh."
Like if I say that's like me saying Michael Dorn's going to be on the show in a few seasons. Everybody knows. Everybody knows that Worf comes on the show eventually, so that's not a spoiler, is it? So all I said is Nurse Ratchet becomes the Kai later. Anyway,
we got told.
But anyway, I think it's a gooder. It's a good story, and what was that? I forgot where I were. Forget what I was going to say. Well, just go. Man, I'm totally derailed. I forgot I had something. Again, Jonathan Banks. Yeah, Jonathan Banks is always great. Don't really have to say it's on my part. I've seen bits and pieces of the show over the years. Says Michael Beacom.
Like Eric. Yeah. Wait, what? Worf will be on this show?
Yeah. True TMF. He's over 20 years older. Some people have not seen the show, which I did not realize anyone here hasn't, but that's cool. But no, we have actually made that concentrated effort not to spoiler it.
We have.
But other than the episode we happen to be reviewing at the time, like for example, I guess we won't spoiler anything about next week's episodes. Just mentioning Nurse Ratchet, to me, that's not spoiling anything.
No.
Because we know that, anyway. So Jonathan Banks, man, great baddie. Actually, good guy.
He is a great baddie.
Good guy in 48 Hours and got blown away. The good bad guy in Beverly Hills Cop.
Yep.
He was on. What was he on? Wise Guy. The guy was. He was in Buckaroo Banzai for a second.
He was in Buckaroo Banzai, but just for a
to get himself killed. But I always like Jonathan Banks. Anyway,
TMF said, "Spoiler alert: there will be time travel."
So notes.
Okay, everyone will not be shocked when they hear the Star Trek soulmates soulmating. Jonathan Banks always plays a wonderful villain. I agree with Quabi. I love Jonathan Banks as a villain. Accidentally or unjustly marooned on a penal colony and or a prison planet. This is a well-visited storyline. The resurrection punishment, however, is uniquely sick in the head, a physical manifestation of a blood feud. So if you see this and you see this as a storytelling device. It's quite clever. Then we have torture with an alien technology or an alien technological twist. I put in my notes. It's a bit of a sci horror feel. So we've got a bit of that science fiction horror feel to it. You're living in hell. And instantly, if you've read Dante's Inferno, like I have, the first thing you start thinking of is Dante's Inferno. You're living in hell. You're longing for death. This is a scientific vampire. So rather than having a vampire, which is, this fantasy or science fantasy, instead we have this very science fiction. So we make it possible. We make it medically possible. So no longer fantasy, but science fiction, a scientific vampire. I think this is a great idea. And then I wrote in here, microbe zombies. So wouldn't that just be a hellish thing to happen? So the fact that this episode is evocative of all these things. It calls to mind Dante's Inferno. It calls to mind this idea that, this would not be a fantasy where it's vampires. This is a technical thing that can be done. These people are living in hell. Their bodies are occupied with these microbes that do this. I just think that makes this a really great episode. This is what science fiction's supposed to do. A missionary finds her. I'm sorry.
By the way, I'm sorry. That's a good point Wolfie made. By the way, I just didn't think it was that big of a deal, but I understand, Wolfie. I'm sorry about that.
We love you, Wolfie.
I'm sorry about that, Wolfie. I mean, it didn't mean anything by doing that. But anyway, go ahead.
No. And then I put a missionary finds her purpose in attempting to redeem the irredeemable. So we have this idea of this blood feud, and now they've lost their minds. They're mad. This is exactly like Dante's Inferno when you think about them being in and I'm not Italian, so I don't care what you think of my pronunciation, the Bolgia. And at this point, you've been immersed in the madness for so long that you're disconnected from anything that could make you a redeemable human. So I love that she decides, even though I'm an agnostic, and a lot of people get upset with this show because we have atheist versus a believer, and of course we have all the agnostics in the middle. I think that that's very intriguing, even as an agnostic. I wrote here in my notes. Wow, Terry Farrell is gorgeous. At one point in the runabout, we get a close-up on her face, and she was such a beautiful young woman, just a striking beauty. I just love her. And then my last comment on this is good science fiction without tidy answers or easy or cliched resolutions. It cleverly turns science fantasy into science fiction, and it deserves props for that. And that's all I have in my notes.
Yeah. Again, it's a very intelligent story. It's brutal. It's a brutal one, but it's a very good episode. And poor old Kai Wen. But again, I'm sorry, not Kai Wen. There you go again, Opaka. I really like that actress, so I really think she's great, and I love her. And that was some good stuff for Kira there. Some nice Kira moments. So yeah, it's an excellent episode.
Yep.
A good concept. It's always good, Wolfie. Thanks, dude. It's always cool, man.
Did you see this thing what JT Kirk says?
No.
Raquel, if you just move your fist back and forth with a loose hand, it helps with all and any Italian pronunciation. So so everyone knows out there.
So what is your rating of Battle Lines?
I give this an A-. I think that it is very clever. This idea of taking like a science fantasy idea, which is of course this idea of werewolves. It leaves the real, right, the possible. This idea of werewolves and vampires and the undead. And it turns it scientific, and it does it in a way in which the person is in a living hell. And then we also have this missionary idea, and so it draws in your mind all of these wonderful books and all of this history and all of these ideas we have about this sort of being undead, and now this could be scientific. I think that's very clever. It has to be an A- for me, boss man.
I can't believe how we keep you so exactly right. I also have an A-. I mean, I was gonna like I say, even though a lot of episodes I like better, I have to just give the cleverness of the idea and the powerful drama of it.
Yeah.
I also give it an A-. So I will give the word. I will give the word now, my friends, in the chat. Please give your ratings of the episode Battle Lines, and then of course any comments you may have. And while number one is starring those, I will bring us some more Max Redstone entertainment. The
Maximum Redstone.
The Maximum Redstone, the master of Limerick, has done it again with 4 outstanding pieces of work, and here's the 4th. All right. Battle Lines by the great Max Redstone. Here it is. Here we go. It is the war that doesn't end, because the dead will always mend. A life with permanent lease, for a flight without cease. Excuse me, for a fight without cease. A fight without cease. But Kaiopaka stays to try and reverse the trend. I messed that up, so I'm going to do it again, folks. It is a war that doesn't end, because the dead will always mend. A life with permanent lease, for a fight without cease. But Kaiopaka stays to try and reverse the trend. Very well done. As always, thank you so much, Max. Top-notch stuff, brother. We appreciate you. JT Kirk says 8.5 out of 10. He says religion is largely taboo for Star Trek, but the way DS9 treats Kaiopaka like a Catholic nun is very positive towards a religious figure and deeply respectful. Kaiopaka is my favorite Kai.
Nice. I agree. Good.
One of 2. I know he's got another one.
Just go down the line, I think. Don't trouble yourself with it, honey.
JT says permanent death in reality would quite easy using fire. I guess would be quite easy using fire, strong acid, nukes, etc. The motivation for eternal conflict to me was too weak, since immortality makes killing pointless. Indeed, it says.
Zakarot's here, boss.
Zakarot. Hey, Zach. By the Woke Breaker was here earlier too. Woke Breaker.
Hey, Woke Breaker was here. I missed him.
I couldn't. I didn't want to interrupt you. So,
Aww.
Zakarot. Hey. B- for Pleasant Valley Picker says 2 warring factions that can't die permanently. Reminds me of Day of the Dove, which is one of my favorite season 3 TOS episodes, same year, which I enjoy much more, which could take this down a notch, says Pleasant Valley Picker. That's one of 2. Hang on a second. Find this other one. Still, Jonathan Banks is always fun to watch, so that moves it back up a notch. So a good watchable episode overall. Yes, kudos to the great Jonathan Banks. I've checked to see if he's still with us, but I'm afraid of the answer. Shooter says B+. 1 runabout down. Which, I'm glad it was that one, because I have trouble pronouncing that stupid Yankee, Chinese, whatever. I just like the simple names. I know they're named after rivers.
Yeah.
1 runabout down. We see how deep Kira's spiritual side is. Kaiopaka dies, which opens up future stories. A nightmare scenario, perpetual war without death. Hang on, Shooter. Let me find your other. The 2 factions unable to let go of their hate for reasons so long forgotten is all too believable. The Kai following her destiny feels natural in this story, even if it was predictable.
Nice comment, Shooter.
Well done. Yes, Shooter. Thank you so much. Pat S. says, a B-. I'll miss Kaiopaka, but don't worry, everyone. I'm sure the Cisco and Kira will get along swimmingly with the new Kai. I'm betting he or she will be awesome and sweet. Thank you. Well said,
I'm
sir.
sending shin kicks to Pat S. Shin kicks. Pat S.
You rascal.
He is a rascal. He's an awful lot of fun, but he's a rascal.
He is a rascally rascal. Mr. Tickle Trunk says C+. While DS9 tried to find its footing as a space station show, they ventured out and found an old plot from Star Trek that was used in an alternate timeline. It's a private little war sibling. Here's you. Let's hang on a second. It's both good science fiction and the very DS9 aspect of diving into character-centric moments, Kira's most memorable. Once again, very predictable originally. Very predictable.
Yeah.
Originally, which hurt the rewatch for me.
Understandable.
Hang on a second. I liked the darker twist where you die in agony and are resurrected to repeat the fight. And again, instead of being blinked back into existence by a Romulan god or a Q, high marks for being real sci-fi.
That's why I love it, Mr. Tickle Trunk.
I like that. I like that as well. But again, I have to remove marks for myself only because I feel like I've seen the story's backbone many times before. In a vacuum, I would say it's really a B+. Okay, perhaps give it a B+. Fair enough.
So close to my comments, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Yeah, that is the nagging part of it. Until we engage in the twists, I feel the same way as you. You start off, and if you're a hardcore science fiction person, you're like, oh, not this. But then it goes, and then you're like, oh, wow. So it's kind of cool.
Indeediousness. A Hungry Boy says B+. From recollection, I like this due to the revivification angle, which reminded me of sci-fi books and comics I enjoyed. Plus, I am a huge fan of Patricia Tallman and Jonathan Banks, so a double slice of 7-layer fan service cake for hungry yippee.
A Hungry Boy. Pat S. is saying that the actress that played Kyle Paka passed away in 2021. Is that true? Can we get confirmation on that?
Oh,
that's really sad.
Wow, she lived a good long while. Apparently, because she wasn't like a spring chicken at that point.
No, how old is she?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Michael Beacom says B. Kyle Paka has to leave Bajor. Why? Because the plot has to get started. Well, I think she said she thinks she was being called by the prophets. Unconvincing. Two sides locked in eternal war. Where's the red and white spinning energy alien overhead? Above?
Yeah.
Indeediousness. Not the first time I've seen that mentioned about this episode. The amazing immortality. The amazing immortality tech is just brushed off. Another plot convenience. Still, at least it still has the flavor of Trek. And this ep could be convicted of attempted science fiction. Fair enough, buddy.
Michael.
The Catman, a.k.a. Dee Dee Myers. Clobby, I thought it was a pretty good episode and give it a A. Loved the story very. I think it's very much. Thank you so much, Catman. Appreciate you.
Oh, Max is saying her name is Camille Savolia.
Okay.
And she was born in 1950, and she died in 2021. So, it's sad.
Sad indeed. Sorry. Indeed. Toxic Man Flu says.
Oh no.
What?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, boss. Enigmatic Dropper just said, folks, something has come up that I have to deal with. Nothing bad. Oh, thank goodness. Gonna give me a heart attack.
Oh, that's good.
So I have to step up for a bit. Hopefully I'll get back before the show ends. Enigmatic Dropper, we love you. Hopefully you'll get back here on time. But if you don't, honey, we love you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for your amazing conversation. You know how much I love you. So be safe. And hopefully you'll be back before the end of the show.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Toxic Man Flu says grade F-. It's a living hell. Reminded me too much of my second marriage. Never marry crazy Johnny Depp was the first. Wow. Speaking of marriage, Sarah Fell married Adam Nimoy in 2018. Yeah, I tried to stop her. I tried to
stop her.
She wouldn't listen to me. Eric K, the answer, my friends, is that war never ends. The answer is that war never ends. Blowing in the wind, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's instantly what I thought. That's why I had to marquee it. Sorry about that.
Of course. Scuba Pete says A+. Enjoyed it. This episode had it all. Liked a nod to the same Sheila and the Arabic is Ishala, or God willing. I'm befuddled, but that doesn't take much. Thank you, Scuba Pete, buddy.
Scuba Pete.
Masters Maniac Mexico says B+, as I really like the development if it comes to Kyle Paka. If it comes to Kyle Paka, and this episode really picks up Bajoran issues. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Masters.
Boss man,
yes.
Michael Beacom, the Beacoms have to leave. He says, I'm sorry, I have to crash and burn. I've had a long day and I start work in 5 hours. Be seeing you. And we'll put you on the bedroom TV and lurk till I sleep. Michael Beacom, Cassandra Beacom, thank you for being here. We love you folks. Have a wonderful evening. Get some sleep, Michael.
Be good, my friends. Have a great one. Dave G. Sound says, not required lore. The overreaching story could have remained succinct regardless of the episode existing. Still, a B for entertainment and lore. Thank you so much, Dave G. Sound. Appreciate you, my friend.
Yeah, I love Dave's contributions here. I think they're terrific.
Wolfie says, rating A. Jonathan Banks is amazing in this. Everyone is fantastic in this episode. Sure is apparent that the Kai is very important to Kira. Yeah, I was there. Yes, indeed.
Sad.
It's just like how Mr. Plinkett describes that anyone wants some pizza rolls. What's wrong with your face? I'm sorry. You can't mention Mr. Plinkett without me doing that. It's right now. Describe the current state of Star Wars. Can't even die to get away from it. Same can be applied to Jar Jar and Kurtzman track.
Wolfie, you can't even die to get away from it.
Would you like some pizza rolls? I can send them to you.
I love you, Wolfie.
Oh man, I like Mr. I love.
Can't even die to get away from it.
Dave says, apologies for a loose review. I had a brandy or two. Nonsense. No apologies necessary.
I'm glad. I'm glad that you're relaxing. I'm glad that you're just kicking back and you're relaxing and you're having a nice time. Just have a good time, Dave G. Said we're here to entertain you.
Dave, don't worry about that, dude. You did great, and we appreciate you. And it's Saturday night, dude. It's another Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody. Sorry. Max Redstone says, "Hey, Mike Ehrmantraut cannot be killed. Mike Ehrmantraut, okay." This is a rather pure science fiction story. Warriors are punished with eternal war. Even death will not give a release. The only Kai is Kai Opaka.
Aww.
And I actually don't know who Mike Ehrmantraut is, though. Ehrmantraut.
Me neither.
I don't know who that is. Either way. Either way.
Either way?
Either way.
Either, neither, neither. Don't write us letters.
I don't know. Either way, you guys, either way you want it. The Kyle Paka dialogue is very grounded and gives depth to both characters. The Kira Opaya dialogue. Kira Opaka dialogue. That's what I get for trying to read you damn fast. I'm certain the prophets will guide the Bajorans to pick a worthy candidate at the next Kai. Right? Okay, I already nurse ratcheted, but okay. Mr. Tickle Trunk for $2 says, I missed Pat Tillman. Tallman, sorry, was in it. A++ hubba hubba. I didn't know. I forgot. I didn't realize she was in it either. I don't remember her being in there, but I trust whoever said it. Well, I think it was Hungry Boy. And I actually accidentally said Pat Tillman, who was a different and a great hero who unfortunately passed many years ago. But
I would have to check. I will go check.
Pleasant Valley had another one saying, relaxing here too, having a few whiskeys and hanging out with good people. Love Saturday Night Star Trek. Thank you. Okay. Well,
she's not listed in the credits.
Who?
Pat. She's not listed in the credits. Isn't that weird?
I don't know. I don't remember. She did a lot of stunt stuff back then. I didn't remember her being in it, but I trust those guys. Anyway, if you would like to go and read Jill and Ed, remember Ed's has 3 in front of 1 and 2 for some reason. So
I will. I'm going.
Go for it.
Off to the starred column I go. Off to the starred column I go. Antiderivative Jill is up first.
Oops, sorry. Yes. Oops, sorry. Yes, I'll take any help I can get, Masters. Thank you. Good.
Yeah, it's an international show. We have a lot of languages going on here.
Yes, I'm terrible at my own language.
Antiderivative Jill, she has a 2-parter. She gives this one a B. She says a prisoner planet allows for regeneration after death using nanites, with people who continue to fight on autopilot in perpetuity. Will Opaka save them? Will Opaka save them? I think she just said an extra will by accident. Hopefully, but I'll miss her. Yeah. And then 2 of 2, she says, O'Brien just invented a differential magnetometer, magnetomer, which detects magnetic resonance patterns on the fly. Yeah, he's an inventor. He invents things. He's a inventimator. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'm starting to make fun of myself.
An inventimator.
Yeah. Enigmatic Drop Bear, the erudite bear. It's got a 5-parter here. He gives this one a B+. He says the principal idea underpinning this story, war is pointless, has a limitless potential, but it doesn't quite play that well in this episode. Now where's 2? Here's 2. Banishing warring factions to an inhabitable moon is one thing, but it's a pretty sadistic mind that deploys nanite-like devices that resurrect the dead and facilitate perpetual war. Yeah, I find that very disturbing as well. And then
Absolutely.
3 of 5. Kira's reflexive return to freedom fighter, then Kai Opaka's reprimanding her of "this is not your war" was very powerful, as was the counseling that Opaka subsequently provided her. 4 of 5. One could ask that if the nanites were programmable, why not reprogram them to remain active when they leave the moon? This ambiguity is appropriate within the context of the story's conclusion. And then 5 of 5. This episode presented a memory stick within its contemporary principal use case 5 years before Sony released the first memory stick. Cool.
Nice,
I'm going back to the live tab, and you have some Mark D with a C.
All righty then. Our chief engineer says A- for the Walking Dead version of Day of the Dove, spooky horror sci-fi with some great characters and acting. Being locked in a perpetual war also reminded me of Lazarus and Commissioner Beale.
Stop it! Stop it!
Wow.
Shin kicks! Your agonizer, please. I need some Vulcan paint or Klingon pain sticks. Somebody, can I borrow someone's Klingon pain sticks, please?
Yikes.
We have to deal with Mark.
Oh, the horror of Lazarus's beard. Oh! Although Bashir offers a solution to reprogramming the nanites, could he also change them so they would work in any environment? I do not know, sir. Best line of the episode, Kira says, "You really think the fear of death will end the fighting? It never has in any other war." That was a very good, yeah. Exactly. Very well said, yeah.
I love this comment from Mr. Tickle Trunk. Please don't get the Klingon pain sticks mixed up with the sex sticks from the what's that species called again? The
Wadi?
Mobby? Mooby?
Wadi or whatever?
No, I don't know. Moby? Whatever.
The Wadi, right?
Wadi! That's it, Wadi! Can you tell I'm tired?
The Wadi. Yeah. Well, I think we got our reviews.
Yep.
I think we got some.
We're done. We're done. We're done.
Are we done?
We're finished.
Any other reviews? All righty. Well, folks, looks like we've knocked another one out. So
look at this. Anti-derivative Jill, our communications officer, puts next
not only
week.
that, look at this.
Ah, that's a very nice poster.
That sucks, but it'll get the job done. So thank you, Jill, for that. Communications officer, but I decided to start making give people an advanced look at what's coming up next that way. So so you wouldn't have to do that every time.
Nice.
You can move along and join us if you want to, Mark, while we're closing things up. But you have a link. These are the episodes next week's hosts: Storyteller, Sanctuary, If Wishes Were Horses, and Dramatis Personae. Thank you so much, TMF, for $5. Thank you so much. You're too kind, buddy. He says, Mark D with a C is wrong. This episode does not remind of Lazarus because no one is falling off of anything. Chief Engineer, indeed.
Love you, TMF.
Welcome, Chief Engineer.
Hell, yeah, I gotta answer that. Great point, TMF as usual. It didn't come on. Someone must have fallen off a cliff in that episode at some point, right?
Hail, fire and thrills.
Oh, good. Well, we survived tonight. Great fun, as I always say. Some of the worst, not so great episodes have some of the better chat and some of the better times. So
they do.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah. So yeah, I couldn't
like
remember
it because then people actually like flesh out why they don't like it, and I think that's much better than just like having an empty review where people are like, "Oh, that's a stupid episode," just because they went to IMDb and read what other people said. I like that our chat gets in here and they say, "No, I don't like it because of this, because of this, because of this, and what about this?" And I was thinking about this, and I just love that people are allowed to express themselves in that way and make the episodes more interesting.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah, and when I rewatched thanks, Julia. When I rewatched No Way, what was it? No Way Home, or whatever.
Move along, go home.
Move along,
move along home.
The horror, yeah. I was when that hopscotch scene came. I'm like, I'd forgotten just how bad it was. So I can understand you don't want to play it, but it actually
I'm not taking any chances anymore.
Don't play that crap. I don't want that in my head.
First of all, even if I was taking chances, I can't even look at that scene again.
No, but I've gotten a lot of views on my channel, so I'll post the link again. But I did double check, so it's the shortened version is safe. But we'll talk off the air.
It won't be safe to me. I can guarantee I get screwed.
You got a gift from JT Kirk?
JT Kirk, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. You were too kind, buddy.
I love
Another
you,
great
JT
example of Saturday Night Star Trek, Alamarine.
Stop saying it. JT
so
Kirk, I'm sending you shin kicks.
I can't even get mad at you if you. I mean, I'm not a Ferengi, so I'm not greedy. I won't turn. But obviously, I couldn't even turn down. I wouldn't even know how to turn down a super chat, to be perfectly honest with you. So I can't I can't say, "Damn it, take that $5 back, boy," and put it back in his pocket. I don't know how.
Max.
So I appreciate it, but that said, you don't have to do that. You could have. I would have.
They're ganging up on us, boss.
All right. If anyone wants to watch it, they can watch it on my channel after the show's over. If you missed the song, if you
want to watch a video that has the stupid scene from Move Along Home, and you go to Mark's channel. Yeah,
but there's an Easter egg. I put an Easter egg in the video.
There's an Easter egg in the video, and it's funny.
Did you catch
but
the
I can't
Easter egg?
show it. I didn't.
No.
There's an Easter egg
because I'll get dinged by CBS.
Calamari,
I'll talk to you after the show, but I'll tell
calamari, then 3 more. Calamari, then you'll see tzatziki is good for me. Sorry.
And don't put clams on your pizza.
Yeah.
No, it's you and your stupid clam pizza. Clams look like tongues. Have you seen them? They're disgusting.
Hey, I'm on the ocean here. We eat a lot of seafood.
Seafood,
and I eat it.
Thank you, Dave G, for the $2 super chat. Move along home. Move along. Nothing to see here. Move along. There you go. Max loves that song.
Shin kicks.
No, that's fine to see it written like that, or even have to say it's bad. But hearing Avery Brooks sings it makes me want to cry.
Now I want calamari.
And I love Avery Brooks, but I'm saying, man, that
was so cringeworthy. He
they
probably punched someone after that scene.
They probably said, "I'm not doing this." Well, actually, somebody sent a video to my Clobbering Times Baxter Building Basement Facebook page. Yeah, for those who don't know, actually, there's a link to it in my description below. It's Clobbering Times Baxter Building Basement Facebook page. It's for this channel. It's on Facebook if any of you are there. And it says, and he wrote, I don't know, I'm not sure if I know who this gentleman is, but I think he's listening. I think it's Scott. It says, I am so sorry. It says, Avery Brooks talks about his worst experience on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. It's a YouTube video. Now, I won't show it on here, of course, but I don't even know what it says, but I have a feeling it's because we were talking about that stupid scene. It's a 1 minute 3 second long thingy, and I'm not gonna. I can't show it, but I'll try to find out if that's what he's talking about.
Right. And Max Redstone is twirling Denise Crosby's mustache.
Yep, that's what it is. He said it's his worst experience on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Yep. Oh God, yep. It's that video. So anyone wants to see it, go for it. It's all. And if anyone who is part of Facebook, if you do Facebook, please join my Clobbering Times Baxter Building Basement group, and I'll if you request, I'll add you. I'll add everybody.
Do you have a link to that direct, or that's in your show?
I can send. I'll put the link. Hang on, let me put the link in the private chat.
Here you have it. Yeah, it's.
I'll put the link. I'll put the link in.
Yep.
In there for you. Let me get it.
Thank you. Yep.
So anyone wants to see that? He's at a con with Sirach Lofton and someone asked him his least favorite scene. And I'm gonna put it in the chat here. Even though
Wolfie, the look on Nana Visitor's face is just she can't believe she has to do that.
Yeah. Then she manages to smile at the end.
I put a link in my chat right there, folks, if you want to watch that. But I'm not going to show it.
I left Spencer for hire for this crap.
And whoever made this YouTube video shows it from the con, him saying that, and then they actually show the stupid scene. They clip the scene on there. But he was it looks like he wasn't happy. Oh boy, Mark, will you do a late night Fortnite tonight or no?
No, it's probably too late. No, I got a lot of honeydew. There's a big honeydew list tomorrow. I didn't finish it all today, so
that's what you get. That's what you get, Isaac, when you marry a human.
Yeah.
It sounds
if I had an Isaac around here to do all the work.
That was the funniest line when the Kaylin said it sounds like you were talking about it being enslavement. Or you're trying human masters to enslave you. So anyway.
Marriage.
Yeah.
Oh, I love my wife. She's not listening now.
Does this mean 3 weeks of DS? We'll see. Does this mean with 3 weeks of DS9 down, we're headed to the 4th SHAP? Says Jared D. Kirk. I'm not sure what that means. Am I missing something?
The SHAP for the game tonight from the Wadi game.
The Wadi game.
Every level was a SHAP.
Wow, you paid attention that much? I was trying to chew my own face off the whole time.
And then we know why Lazarus jumped off the cliff. They're saying because of clam pizza, Pleasant Valley, and
is that what it was?
Yeah, it said that's
100% your fault.
And singing Alarmain.
We got through that episode.
That was a fun one, yeah.
Oh, man,
that could have been. It could have been good if you had an arena where the crew was watching.
Had to spend money.
The cast, they had to spend a lot of money on it.
And just don't do it if you don't have the money. How about that? What's wrong with that?
And why wouldn't the new aliens tell the crew some of the rules are oh well, you're not really in any danger, just quark and lose money, right?
Yeah, that's also stupid. They don't tell them that.
Ridiculous.
You don't tell. So in other words, you go around scaring people like that, thinking they're really fighting for their lives, and you use them, then you say, just kidding.
Yeah.
We'd love to start wars.
Yeah, we'd like to meet here. Great to meet you.
Don't pull that crap on the Klingons. They'll declare war on you.
We'll got you.
Go do it to the Romulans. They're not going to think it's, Oh, we're just kidding, Cal. They'll blow your damn planet up.
Imagine playing that game with Nausicaans.
Yeah.
Look at Mr. Tickle Trunk. He says, I vote that the A word is banned from this chat forever. I agree, Mr. Tickle Trunk, and I love you.
I mean, if you did it to anybody but the Federation, your ass would be like attacked. You'd be like, look, these guys, you're in trouble. Only the wimpy ass Federation let them off the hook.
Yeah.
Only a game.
How do you like our games? Yeah. The Klingons play games with lawn jarts, right? With their little kids, right? So it's
right.
In that episode, yeah.
It was so stupid.
Yeah.
So, any spacefaring race that does that ain't gonna last long.
Play Dom Jot. Wadi.
Guman.
Yeah.
Guman.
That's courtesy of JT Kirk.
Yeah, parishioners. So, well, I guess we should start doing little show notes and get a move on here so we can say goodbye to all of our wonderful friends tonight. We kept them pretty late. Anyways,
DG sound.
What? Shot sticks.
Ew. Ew.
Better than chapsticks.
Look, those are single use only, Dave. She said.
Wait, thumbs up, Dave. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, Monday night, I'll be doing it's Jack Kirby month on Clobbering Time. So Monday night I'll talk some Kirby. And, Mark D, do you have anything to talk about?
Well, of course, other than the sex sticks, I don't know if we're covering that on Sunday Night Geekery, but we'll be on at maybe I might have to do 10:30 because I might be running late from a function, so I might be on 10:30 Eastern tomorrow night with the Geekery. But looking forward to hopefully having you on and usual guests and hanging out and talking. I don't know what we're going to talk this week. We'll figure it out. We always figure out something good to talk about. Some of the new.
As long as it doesn't make me hungry, I'll be fine.
Well, we'll do that at the very last. Yeah. We'll talk ribs and what I'm cooking for tomorrow night at the very end of the show. I promise not to show any bacon wrapped meatballs before the at the beginning of the show.
Dude, I'm going to transport you into the heart of the Nubian sun.
I got to send you that. It's an easy recipe. It's a simple recipe. I should do that on my channel.
Chase you around the moons of Nebula and round the Antares maelstrom, around perdition's flames. All right, so any closing words, number one?
No, just that I love you all. We are a ridiculous group of people, and I love you all. Sure. I just think it's so special that we all found each other. We're together. I love you all so much, and we all get each other, even though we are pathetically weird. All
this is weird. Saturday Night Weird Trek.
I love you all. You guys are fabulous. You guys make me cry laughing. I adore you all. Excellent comments tonight. I want to thank the Wrenches for taking care of us. Sometimes YouTube can be a weird place, and you protect the chat. And you protect the conversation, and in so doing you protect this community and you protect this wonderful space that Clobby has made for us. Captain, my captain, how I love you, my Star Trek soulmate. I love being around you. I just thank you for making this space for us, and honey, you're just the best. And Mark D with the C, thank you for all the things that you do for us behind the scenes and for just being such a great friend to Clobby and I. And I also want to thank all of the people who went out of their way tonight to support my captain's channel. This is his virtual comic book shop, and the gifts that you gave him tonight in support of this show to say, this is a great show. I enjoy this show. You have no idea how much I appreciate that. My boss is retired, and it's so nice that he has these super chats to keep the virtual lights on in the virtual comic book shop. So I love you all very, very much. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you all so much. And now we will say our goodbyes to our fantastic friends who are with us. We'd like to shout everybody out, as you know. Again, before I do that, thank you to all of our friends who have either lurked or have listened to us on a download or a repeat later, listened to and or watched, I should say, out there, and Eric O'Sullivan and anyone else who our friends who are catching this later on a rerun. And if the great Lord Thoth is catching this later, buddy, thank you so much. Avon lives and long live the Legion.
Yeah.
So with us tonight, we as everyone knows, this is where we shout everybody out as our goodbyes. And tonight with us was, of course, the great Nanat and Amanda Bear. Thank you so much. Phantom Outsider.
Good night.
The Bronze Wrencher, Eric K.
Take care. Love you.
The great Chris Persia, buddy. Another fantastic wrench.
Love.
As always, our wonderful friend, Jill, a anti-derivative Jill. Thank you for being here with you. And of course, our chief engineer, Mark D with a C. We got.
Thank you.
Acknowledging the crew members, of course. Steve Mitchum. Hope you get better, buddy. Hope you feel better. Yeah. Dave G Sound. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
Raymond Feliciano was here. He had to run, I believe. But Enigmatic Drop Bear, thanks to you. As always, thank you so much for being here tonight. You've done fantastic.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Big shout out to another crew member and a great contributor, Mr. Max Redstone. Maximum Redstone, take a bow. Yeah. You did a fantastic job on the
Maximum Redstone.
As always, buddy. Thank you so much. Pleasant Valley Picker, thank you for being here tonight. Wagner had to run, I believe, but Hale Gragnar might be. Wagner might have listened later when he came. He said he would play it back. So if he did, thank you, Wagnar for being here. Michael Beacom had to run, I believe. Michael and Cassandra Beacom, if you're still hearing us, or even if not, you get a shout out either way. But we really appreciate you being here and hope you have a marvelous rest of your weekend. D Bud Buddy, the man of iron. I can't wait to hang out with you again next Friday night. It was great hanging out with you this past Friday night on our good buddy Nick Weiser's show.
Good night.
Pat S. Buddy. Thank you, bro, for being here. Always a pleasure, man. You have a good one, buddy. Sandra Feliciano was also here earlier. Had to run.
Good night,
love you, Sandra. Captain Time Lord Spock. Take it easy, buddy, if you're still hearing us. Thank you so much.
Max.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Well, good Lord.
Ignore him.
Hungry is the official. Clobbering Times artist. Yowza.
He is.
AKA the great Hungry Boy. Thank you, buddy, for being here. You are fantastic. You're a great friend. Love seeing you, man.
Love you. Night,
Scotty R37 had to run, or maybe go lurking. Scotty, thank you.
Night, Scotty.
The Catman, a.k.a. D.D. Myers. Thank you for being here.
Catman and his lovely wife.
And your wonderful wife. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you so much. Joe's Atmosphere, if you're still out there lurking, my brother, take care. Thank you for being out there. We appreciate you. And have a great rest of your weekend. Terrell72, if you're still lurking out there, my friend, thank you so much for being there. You're much appreciated, and I hope I hope to see you next week. As always, we really appreciate you being here, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Mr. Tickle Trunk,
sending our love to you, Tyrell. Good to see you, honey. See you next week.
Absolutely, Tyrell. Mr. Tickle Trunk, with a $20 Canadian super chat. Thank you so much. You're too kind, very generous. I appreciate you, sir. He says, Clobby, after move along home, have something alcoholic on me. Also, sale, 2 for 1 sex sticks or Cyax sticks for shin kicks. Sex sticks for shin kicks. Sorry, I botched that up, Mr. Tickle Trunk. As long as supplies last and Raquel can keep kicking, then move along to bed. Well, you know something, Mr. Tickle Trunk, you're too kind. Thank you so much. And I'll embarrass myself here a minute. I don't drink. I'm not a teetotaler like who judges anyone else. But I've never even had an alcoholic beverage in my life, and I'm old. It's a weird thing to tell people. None. It's a weird thing to tell people because, I mean, you could tell somebody, you can confess to being a serial killer who slaughtered 45 people yesterday, and you would get a more shocked response when you tell them you're my age and you never took a drink in your life. It's a weird thing. I don't know. It's just crazy. But
that's just who you are.
Yeah. So I'm just a geek. I can't help it. Thank you so much, TMF, for the $5 super chat. You were too kind. And again, appreciate it, Mr. Tickle Trunk. You rock, buddy.
Oh, boy.
Which is more disturbing? My dreams of Mark D with a C as Lazarus or Lazarus as Counselor Kamoto? Honestly, that might be a toss-up, brother.
You might need to flip a coin on that one.
I guess it's time to grow out my beard.
Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk doesn't. No, Mr. Tickle Trunk doesn't drink either. I mean, but I've never even taken a sip ever. So, man, well, no, wait a minute. I tried a beer, but a sip of a beer when I was a kid and spit it out. And once a really hot chick got me to drink part of a white Russian daiquiri, but I think I spit that out. Aside from that, never ever.
No hurricanes, nothing. Yeah,
nothing. I'm not bragging, just saying I like weirding people out, I guess. But I'm the classic designated driver, and I've been that way too many times. That's what I get for not drinking. Anyway, let's see here. Where were we? Chuck Marble was here early. Thank you, Chuck Marble.
And Chuck, take care of yourself. I hope you that you're feeling better. Please rest and take good care of yourself. We're thinking of you, my friend.
Mr. Tickle Trunk, thank you. Will do. I definitely spending frivolously. I'm an expert on that. I could teach college courses on spending frivolously, like on Geek Crap. Yeah.
I've never done that before, ever.
Or at least over tipping at Twin Peaks. Just kidding. The lovely Wendy Webb, and hello to you and Jimmy. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Captain James T. Skywalker. All right, Kimasabi.
Good night.
Fantastics. Or Fanatics 98. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but Fanatics 98 was here for the first time.
Welcome. I hope you had a good time.
I hope you're still here, but either way, thank you so much. Double C. Thank you for being here.
Double C.
My old cuz Dave Rayborn was here for a while.
Dave, it was so good of Dave to show up this week. It was nice to see him. It's been forever.
Always good to see you, man.
Yeah.
Papa Delta Yankee. Thank you for being here with us. J-Man popped in for a second. Our good old buddy. He's going to be doing something soon, I hope. Wolfie 762. Thank you. The great Wolfie. The ever-loving blue-eyed The Thing popped in earlier.
Ting.
Thing ring, don't do your thing. And they called him Scuba Pete, popped in.
Scuba Pete! And Leslie.
Great to see you, buddy. And Leslie, shout out to you, my friend.
Do you know that I tried to send you chips? I tried to send chips to you, and they wouldn't accept the order. So I'm going to have to do something else. I may have to do the same thing for Scuba Pete and Leslie as I did for Nick Weiser. So those Canadian chips are on their way, Pete's. Scuba Pete's.
Excellent. Your Old Toys, thank you for being here with us tonight. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we appreciate you hanging out with us.
Good night.
Dalek 451, thank you for popping in. Good to see you.
Night, Dalek.
Shooter 8323, always great to have you here, Shooter. We appreciate you.
Pew, 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 pew.
What she said, but I can't say it so eloquently. So thank you for your participation, Shooter. Midnight's Oblivion.
Good night, Midnight.
Thank you for being here. Rob Altus, thank you, buddy, for being
here. Night, Rob.
Keely Chow, roll that tide.
Roll tide.
And shout out to Scotty, who he always sporking raid. Thanks, Scotty.
Scotty, I think I did. Didn't I shout out Scotty yet?
You did. Yep, you did.
I did. Oh yeah. Oh, that's Scotty. Yeah, Keely Chow. You mean that Scotty? I was thinking about the other Scotty.
Yeah.
Yes, Scotty at Sporking, fantastic fellow.
You shouted him out at the beginning of the show. It was really nice.
Thank you so much, Scotty. Larry.
Love you, Larry.
The aforementioned legend, the great Mr. Tickle Trunk.
Mr. Tickle Trunk.
Our old pal, our fantastic pal, Gil Cardinalson. Thank you so much for all those contributions, buddy. And if you're still hearing this, I hope to talk to you and hang out with you soon. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, brother. You're too kind. You're a great soul, and I appreciate you, man. The fantastic Dad Man and the Dad Man clan.
Yep, hail Dad Man.
Dad Man, hail.
Family.
He had to run, I know that, but still hail to the great Brandon, the anime guy.
Yeah. Night, Brandon. Thank you for being here.
Indeed. Anonymous. It was good to have you pop in. An honor. A true hero, in my opinion. Masters Maniac Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for being here tonight.
Triple
Appreciate
M.
you so much. Mega Cropper, thank you, Mega Cropper. It's always good to see you that you pop in. Maybe Poppy sneaks in all the time and gives us a rating, and we appreciate that, Mega Cropper.
Nice to see you.
He is a legend. He is a master of. He is just probably the greatest thing that's ever happened to YouTube. He is toxic man flu.
Agreed.
And his wonderful wife. May you have a wonderful week free of Reba concerts.
There's no cure for TMF. Thankfully.
Thank goodness there's no cure for TMF. We love you, TMF.
And our great pal, JT Kirk. Thank you so much, JT.
Night, JT Kirk. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
The Woke Breaker popped in earlier. Thank
Good night,
you,
Woke Breaker.
Be well. And of course, last but never least, our good old buddy Zacharot popped in. Zacharot. Thank you. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week as well. Thank you all so much, my friends. That caps it out. That's everyone that I had written down. What a wonderful night. What a great crowd we had here. A great bunch of people listening. It has been fantastic. We will be here again, as I said, next weeky with 4 more episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Storyteller, Sanctuary, If Wishes Were Horses, and Dramatis Personae.
735 Club. I love you. I love you all so much. Oh, TMF sent you another gift box.
Sneaking one in on me. Thank you so much, TMF. It said, start out with a small beard, Mark. You never go full Lazarus your first time. Wow.
I remember
Thank you so much, TMF.
That safety tip. Yep. I remember. I'll check with the missus too to see what she prefers.
If you straighten it, are you going to use a straightener to straighten it?
Like, ouch.
Don't.
Oh, he made it back. Enigmatic did make it back. Hey, Enigmatic drop.
Hey.
Good night, 735ers. Take care and have a great week. Thanks for your great review. We did read your review.
We did.
And thank you so much. Well, of course we did.
Good night.
We would. And thank you so much, ED. Shout out to Enigmatic Drop there and appreciate you. Thank you, Jill. Lord Thought, if you happen to hear this, buddy. Avon lives long, live the Legion. Everyone else, again, I hope to see you back here next week. And of course, it's any of you who are comics fans, we're celebrating the King of Comics all month with Jack Kirby month. And we'll be celebrating it throughout the month, unless when we're doing our Star Trek show on Saturday night. It's going to be all wall-to-wall Kirby. Except on our Clubhouse, we'll do other stuff. But even on the Clubhouse, I'll get some Kirby in on that one. So thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic night. Rest of your evening. Please enjoy these important messages and then our wonderful ending, opening and beginning credits. Good night, everybody. Take care.